Welcome, one and all, to the commie-crushing adventures of one Cole Phelps. We love playing L.A. Noire here on RazörFist Arcade Live, and we are going to do that tonight and have not quite point-and-clicking hilarity which silenced you. How the fuck are you, Terangel?
I'm doing pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good?
Very
What
damn.
about pretty goddamn good?
Yeah.
He is actually rubbing his nipples with an ice cube as he says this.
Oh, why do you have an ice tray here?
I don't know. Oh gosh, let's fuck with our audio here real quick. There we go. Make sure the game's not too loud, because no one wants to listen to the game cut a promo. Let's see. There we go. Excellent. I was just watching, by the way, speaking of the game cutting a promo.
Me a body bag.
And then, of course, The Undertaker pops up. Speaking of Triple H cutting promos and putting the entire crowd in a sleeper, I was just watching a promo of The Rock basically calling Triple H out for being the most boring promo in the business right to his face.
Ooh.
Oh, man. I forgot how stiff some of those promos got back in the day. Man, it was bad. But yeah, he basically buried Triple H in that promo. That was the thing about that whole era in wrestling, like in 2000 or so. It's really rough to watch because The Rock would come out and he would cut all these promos and he'd talk all this shit, and then he'd always lose at the pay-per-view because Triple H was blowing Vince McMahon dawn to dusk. It was really rough to watch. 2000 was a terrible year for wrestling. Just a terrible year. It was a good feud, The Rock and Triple H, but at some point the good guy has to win. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Triple H, like, check the fucking records on that. I think I actually crunched the numbers a long time ago.
Will commence again.
There was something like 7 main events or something with Triple H in them, or no, Triple H won 7 times. Keeping in mind there's only like 12 pay-per-views in a year. He won like something like 7 times. It's just ludicrous. Just ludicrous. It's such a Triple H glory fest that year. But enough about wrestlings. Let's do some L.A. Noire. I love it. By the way, Frank Miller is all pretentious. That's how he pronounces it. Noir. Noir.
Have you heard of Forgotten Weapons?
Of course.
That's can you describe it to me? Remind me.
You don't know what Forgotten Weapons is? It's a guy who just talks about older guns, basically.
Yeah,
a lot of World
yeah.
War I weaponry. The guy looks like he's gun Jesus.
Only a ninja can stop a ninja.
He's gun Jesus. He's got a big beard, and he's fucking a whore.
I'll have to
What?
check that out.
It was great. He did man, pissed off every Glock fanboy in 5 zip codes. He did a video comparing. He does this thing called a mud test, where he drops 2 guns into mud and sees if they'll work afterward. Right?
Oh, that's clever.
So he compared the Glock and the Luger, right?
Ooh.
World War I pistol. And the Luger, there were complaints at the time that in the mud of the trenches, the Luger was not as reliable as some other guns, like the Mauser, for example. But, so they did this mud test, and the Glock fucking failed. The Glock got its ass kicked by a Luger, by a World War I pistol. And the Glock, like, the stories of the Glocks being tested by the military and stuff are legendary. They dropped them out of helicopters. Like, they did all kinds of shit and they still fired. But yeah, for some reason, they found a way to make a Glock, I forget, it's like Glock 19, to fail. I can't fucking believe that. But yeah, let's...
All right. Well, let's hurry up and get some of these out of the way before they stack up.
Yeah.
You guys are way too generous, as always. Mm-hmm. JSC Hong says, if Taryn was a bitch, what would his bitch name be?
See, I'm not familiar with bitch names.
Yeah, neither of us would be. That's all I'm saying. Oh, let's see how loud that game audio is.
I turned it way down.
Oh, yeah, we're good. All right. My life is a complex pastiche. Donates 35. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bro.
Your thoughts on Chris Ray Gunn? Personally, I think he's an example of a liberal who doesn't make me want to use my toaster as a bath bomb. Godspeed.
Whatever. I don't really watch his stuff. I don't really care. He spurged out. I will say this. He spurged the fuck out a few years ago when I predicted that Star Wars was going to be dead in a year. And next year, Last Jedi came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh,
in
dude, he
response
not only spurged out about it, he was like retweeting me and like, holy shit, look how crazy Razor is. Fucking retard.
I must have missed that.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you again. James Percy says, how often do you play One-Winged Angel?
Never?
I'm down to about one a month.
This
Right.
ain't over.
It's got a pretty high weeb quotient.
You can't go cold turkey. Overseer USA says, Tulsi Gabbard has announced that she's running in 2020. How do you think Trump's chances are in Trump versus Tulsi, aka Battle of the T's? Hashtag Trump 2020.
I think it's actually bad for the Democrats. A lot of candidates are declaring very, very early. There's liberals already saying this, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of candidates are declaring very early, which is bad because it splits the Democrat loyalties early because people get more entrenched in their choices. And a lot of them are very far lefty progressives, which is not a good sign. Not a great sign. So I actually think it's good for Trump, personally. But I don't think anyone... I'm not seeing anyone in the field who can contend with Trump, personally.
Yeah. If anything, they make him look better. Overkill 161 says,
Do we want to do one of these DLC?
Kill you last.
That's what made you did.
I lied.
love that one.
How is the volume, by the way?
It's good so far.
Okay.
Yeah, we're coming in loud. and
Nice. That's all I care about.
clear. I'll check again when the people start talking.
Right.
What were you saying? Something about the cases?
If we should do DLC cases, or if we should continue on with the campaign.
Make your vote.
Where am
now.
I? I think we're... Oh, okay. We're on Homicide.
Overkill 161 says, Kenny G Mythos win.
I have to perm my hair first.
Evan Rose says,
Sorry, in Kenny G's case, I have to perm my wig first. To get a great big oversized 90s jacket.
I'm seeing DLC, and then a lot of people just voting for Body Bag,
And then
which
PPC.
Body Bag, once again, not a choice, but always a choice at the same time. Yeah, people want you to do the DLC.
Okay. I've never played any of the DLC, so I'll probably suck ass at it, but it could be fun.
Evan Rose
Have
says,
any... I assume people in the chat have played the DLC. Is it any good?
one person says DLC Body Bag.
Reefer Madness is one of the DLCs.
Oh, do that one.
Okay. The Life and Times of the Amazing Atheist. Sorry, that would be Plantain Madness.
Where did I leave off? Evan Rose says, is it elder abuse to Weekend at Bernie's RGB? Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, man, she's... Remember when they were talking about her like she was fucking Jack LaLanne? Like she was
yeah.
gonna live forever. Now she's like taking an extended absence from the court, which is great, by the way. It's great that we're to the point where this woman is so transparently political she won't even resign when she's having severe health problems. That's good. She's basically gonna wait until she dies because Trump's in office. It's good the court hasn't been so fucking politicized that has to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what the Founding Fathers intended. Which is why, by the way, the only Supreme Court justice to ever be censured and, to actually be impeached was during the lifetime of the Founding Fathers.
Really?
The Founding Fathers were still alive the last time that happened. The only time that happened.
Gee, I
don't
wonder what they
think
would
that's
do
a-
now.
Yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. The Founding Fathers felt pretty strongly about the need for the Supreme Court to be held to account, as evidenced by that anecdote right there.
Yeah.
So, the fact that Congress has never impeached a single Supreme Court justice, the closest they came was in the early 20th century when I think the Chief Justice pressured one of the lesser justices to resign because he wasn't activist enough, basically. But
Was the guy's name Justice Samuel Chase?
yeah, that would be Samuel Chase, I believe.
Okay.
Reefer Madness or Naked City? Because Naked City is named after a good film noir.
Attention, Bajoran workers.
Might as well start at the top.
Detective Gul Dukat.
God, he should have been in this. It would have been great.
Imagine Odo Noir.
Oh.
Harumph!
Sturm Truppen Bob says, excited for the new Demons and Wizards?
Very excited. Very excited. As should you.
Stealth Creation says, something German media claim that despite clear video evidence of battered AFD MP, that motive of attackers wasn't murder or assault. Press X to doubt.
Boom doo doo. You left-wing piece of garbage.
I will work on it, but I think I'm gonna make that a donation. I'll work on it.
You left-wing leading parasite. I don't have to sit here and listen to your drivel. I wish that were a response to every interrogation in this game. That and democracy is non-negotiable.
Kazakame says, ETA until South Africa is a failed state.
Save game to overwrite. Oh dear.
Why does a PC game have a limit on saves?
I don't know. I hate save game limits.
Yeah, I don't know when that whole ball on South Africa is going to drop. It's going to be pretty soon.
187 at 5810 Murata Avenue.
Whoa.
Homicide. The coroner thinks the brother.
I'm not the only one who saw that,
using
right?
The army morphine. Don't say anything, Roy. Just get over there.
I call him Detective Fancy Pants. Speaking of which. Speaking of Fancy Pants.
Oh, yeah.
1776 will commence again.
Ace of Justin says, press Y to restart Rhodesia.
Oh, Chicago Piana.
Fancy. All right, just checking something. Where did I leave off? Here we are. Iron Confed says, I hear from leftists say that blue states
The
subsidize...
suit that makes you good with the 1911 is fucking pink. That has to be a rib
Well-
from the designers.
Well, I mean, come on now. It's not like you can tell.
It's true. That's
So go ahead and put
absolutely
it on.
true. Aha! That is one design flaw. When you turn on black and white, you can't see the golden doorknobs.
I should start introducing us as Detective Earl, and this is my science teacher, Mr. Phelps.
Your interest in my appearance is starting to get me worrying.
Like it or not, we're a dysfunctional couple now. People judge me with you on my arm same way they would a fat broad with a 5 o'clock shadow.
I really hope you're
But enough about Leslie Jones.
You think those Vice boys get any on the
Oh, where did I leave off here? Oh, Iron Confed said, I hear from leftists say that blue states subsidize failed red states. Is it based on a real issue, or is it just another form of orange man bad?
It's projection, is what it is. I mean, what's the rule? The left accuse you of whatever they're guilty of. If anyone is more subsidized by the federal government than California and Illinois, let alone Michigan, I mean, you know what I mean? Come on. Yes, there are poor red states like Arkansas, for example, or, you know, Alabama. Although, how red is Alabama these days? So, yeah, it's projection.
Hello, Nolan. Welcome.
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Seem distracted. We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this?
Oh, there we go.
Hasem says, Italy and Poland are forming an alliance against the EU? Really?
Two of the more conservative European states.
Are you going to
Oh, this is blocking the map.
Deals being done right now will change the
There we
face
go.
of LA forever, and we're wasting our time on some hump.
someone's little girl?
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does were creamed. The odds for and against life
Nice.
is striking.
Yeah, put it on my tab.
I forget, can you have your partner drive?
Yes you can, but it fast travels. Yeah. I think you hold it?
Can you drive to this one?
Yeah. You drive to this one, my glaucoma's acting up.
Very appropriate.
What is?
The fucking notification coming up.
Apartment 6, in the back.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Attention, Bajoran workers! Apartment 6, he said?
You're letting me loose?
The last says, tell me you saw Trump's Dear Diary tweet.
Oh, yes, I did!
Yeah.
Oh, it was glorious.
Made homicide.
That I did. Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Oh, Rusty.
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills. Falls asleep in the tub. Rest in peace. Case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Alright. Oh, my.
Mal, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest. Take a closer look at her head and neck.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly.
I'm getting forensic signs the bitch had it coming. Whoa.
This ain't over.
Bruising on the forearms, and he's Like bite marks.
Very good.
I don't deal with psychos. I put them away.
Okay, these are starting to get weirdly
They're getting
appropriate.
creepy. It's
Yeah.
like play-by-play. I like Cole Phelps's indifferent expression in the tile there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, corpse. I'll just straddle her. Anything over here? Wedding ring.
A very unusual ring.
A fucking
Could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire. The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down, and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
And spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
The morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
All right.
Okay.
Let's
so
see
find
if
two
Bill
guys who
Cosby
recently
dropped
bought
his wallet.
cigarettes and weren't
Yeah.
junkies, and you might be onto something.
Burger Lord says you hear about Randy Randy Bitchford's escapades.
Unconfirmed escapades. It'd be hilarious if it were true, but let's be real, it's probably not.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a little too perfect.
right now it's just hearsay. I mean,
Yeah.
all right, the guy said, but gonna need a little proof.
Go ahead and pop them. Pop one. See what it does.
It's like barbiturates.
How do you know? How do you tell? How do you tell from just looking at a pill? How many pills has Cole Phelps done is my question.
Thy Ravenwing says, been getting into Battletech books. Recommendations?
We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
Okay. Sorry, repeat that?
He's been getting into Battletech books and would like some recommendations.
Okay, let's see here. Ghost of War is a nice kind of intro. Although, you know what? I would actually start with the first one, Decision at Thunder Rift. Because that'll get you started on the Grey Death Legion series, and those are all pretty good. There are chronology lists and stuff online. You can go look those up. But yeah, I would definitely start with Decision at Thunder Rift. It's a good little book, actually. One of my favorites, of course, is Ideal War, but that's because I'm a Merrick whore. And it's a pretty good one, and actually. It's kind of like space Vietnam with giant robots. so I'm there. Oh, what's this? Huh? Ah.
Yeah, it was like, you can look at that, right?
The English smoking jacket. I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one.
Really? Even in the 40s? Oh. No! No! Well, the music's still going, so... Is there a first-person mode?
I
want to say there is...
I can't remember. Markot says, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is already a brain in a jar powered by a car battery. Media is just covering it up.
Yeah, pretty much. They will rig up a pulley system to keep that woman animated if they have to.
You're letting me loose?
This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look.
Nothing? Nope.
Well, you gotta check
Nope.
all three.
Wider than the CNN editorial room. Anything else?
Been a modeling assignment.
Yep.
Place to start.
Oh!
And you go in pieces, asshole.
Good movie. All right.
There won't be anything on the third one. I promise you.
Yeah, I'm sure, but you have to be thorough.
Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
Oh, poor Sears. All right. Have to be thorough.
Wasn't it still Sears Roebuck at this point?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think I just dated myself there.
I think you did.
Kartik Isola says, if you could erase one
my.
video game series...
Uh-oh.
Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it.
How about INS?
Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town.
What's a Sears?
Someone has
Fuck
to
you.
set her family. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact.
With the INS.
Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
Would she have killed herself
God damn
for
it.
a man?
Miss
I
Julie
fucked it
would
up. See,
never
I already
kill
fucked
herself.
up. I already
She's a very
fucked up.
determined young lady. One of those people who shake the tree for all it's worth.
At least I can stop the stopwatch now.
Oh, fuck you. Like I said, I have never played this, this DLC. Look at this cagey bitch. I should have worn an INS hat to interview this woman.
And then she would just burst into flames. That's how that works, right?
Joe Arpaio bumper sticker going.
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
Men friends.
Are you shitting me?
Spill it.
Twice doubt is not the...
I will
See,
not
this is the
spread-
problem with this game. Doubt and lie are
Yeah.
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like a 50-50 crapshoot.
It should just be one or the other.
It really should.
Gossip about Miss Julia. She was very nice to me.
Also, like, whatever... Okay, so the question was, did she have friends? And the lady said, I don't know.
And you doubt that, right?
What evidence did I pick up that suggests that this woman knows her friends?
Right.
Like, the evidence that I would have had to use for the lie, you know what I mean? Like,
Some Justin
If
says,
they ever make another one of these, like, they have to fix that. It's just
well,
such a
I don't
mess.
think that's happening.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
don't care if she was the Virgin Mary sister. Who was she humping? You changed the sheets.
You're disgusting. If you're going to take that tone, I won't answer any more questions. Where are you going? I'm trying, officer. Please come back.
Nope. Aw. I don't want to alarm you, Cole, but your leg is lodged in the table.
Are we glitched? What's going on?
It won't let me get up.
Miss Randall.
Perfectly fine, officer.
I mean, care to roll the fucking dice?
Yeah, this is weird.
This is fucking shit.
You're hiding something, Mrs. Reynolds. There's something about Julia's past that you don't want to tell me.
And how do you come to that conclusion, young man? What makes you think I know anything about her past?
Fuck if I know. Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Looks like I was mistaken.
Maybe this is doubt? Do you want to roll the dice again? Give the opportunity for the designers to fuck us in the ass again.
No. Press F to deport is not an option.
She seems pretty steady. She doesn't seem evasive here.
Don't worry, I haven't skipped you.
Oh my god. So they also stress, I may just have to do this over. Hold on. Let's just... No, not restart case. Stop that. quit. Because it saves right as you enter the room. It's not a big deal.
But,
What the fuck just happened? Okay. Oh, right. You have to back out and go to... Gotcha.
Asim Justin says, please do the case about the Mexicans. I want to make ice jokes.
There we go. Which one?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
There are Mexicans in this game. I don't know that there's a Mexican case.
Second floor, apartment 6.
Speaking of Mexican cases, did you see that dude got caught trying to smuggle himself in a fucking mattress?
What?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do a couple of these real quick.
Here we go.
Kartik Isola says, if you could erase one video game series from existence,
Val, we've had a look around.
as well
The rest of this
as
is a waste of time.
all its influence, what would it be?
Metal Gear Solid.
I'd
do it immediately.
We
It's
need to set up like...
No, look, it's a superfluity. There's other stealth games that came out first. There's other stealth games that came out that were better. There's other stealth games that pushed the genre forward, and Metal Gear Solid is none of them. All the influence is removing agency from the player, having prohibitively long cutscenes, the auteur bullshit that, you know, the entire reason Jade Raymond gets to perpetuate the myth of her own fucking talent, the entire reason, you know, the entire reason there are all these auteurs, like fucking, we were just talking about one, Randy Pitchford, right?
Why did you have to bring this up?
The
now he won't stop.
The entire reason, it's like, what do you think he fucking donated for? Motherfucker? What do you think, he's looking for you to talk?
Yeah. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. That's all.
Yeah, but no, like, fucking, the entire reason creators can get this undeserved air of importance within the industry is largely because of Kojima. You know, like, fucking play goddamn Phantom Pain, guys, where it's like Hideo Kojima presents a Hideo Kojima production directed by Hideo Kojima in association with Hideo Kojima, with hand jobs provided bi-hourly by Hideo Kojima. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's really his contribution at the end of the day. It's more than just me not liking the game. It really had a bad influence. A really bad influence on gaming going forward. And we still haven't shaken off a lot of it. You all right?
I'm fine.
He looks like he had a stroke.
Darth Dragon says, hey, Razor, what do you think of the government shutdown?
I think at the outset of Trump's presidency, I think most of us knew that at some point there would be a full-blown shutdown showdown. Like, there would have to be, because the Democrats were not going to just surrender their entire power base. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. The Democrats were not just going to surrender their power base and go quietly into that good night. So at some point, there was going to be that come to Jesus moment. So the fact that it took 2 years, to be honest, kind of surprises me. I thought it would be sooner, honestly. But I think Democrats hoped that, like, some kind of impeachment... Like, I don't think it's coincidental, for example, that just as the Mueller probe is winding down and it's pretty clear there's not going to be any impeachment, that's when the Democrats suddenly basically are not going to budge, and they're basically pushing for a shutdown. Because they know Trump can't back down on his primary campaign promise. This guy put build the wall on fucking campaign posters, right? This was not a hidden part of his agenda, and it's what most people who voted for him voted for. So he can't back down on it. So by opposing it, they have to understand that, like, it's going to have to end in a shutdown.
He has to strong arm them at this point.
Absolutely. It's not a coincidence this is happening as the Mueller probe is winding down, because it's basically their only option. So,
and once that's over with, they've got nothing.
They've really got nothing. Well, once that's over with, they've got the 2020 election, and the way it's shaping up right now, I have a feeling that's going to go even worse for them. Because this is really playing badly, and it's really all in the numbers. You look at it from this perspective. Trump, at his worst, his approval's been like at his absolute bottom. His approval was like 34%, and those are like the most biased polls. You know, the ones conducted on the campus of UC Berkeley and shit. You know, at some left-wing think tank, his approval was like 30-something%. You know what I mean? Congress, Schumer and Pelosi, in other words, their approval rating is sub 10%. All right? What side do you think the American people are going to come down on? The GOP learned this lesson the hard way in 2013. When they were pushing for a shutdown, Congress's approval rating then was not much higher than it is now. And because Obama's was, by default, even at its lowest, much higher than theirs, they wound up looking like the turd in the punch bowl. And that's what's happening. The media's trying to spin it, and people on the left are slurping the Kool-Aid, but when haven't they? In the broader public, it's not playing well at all. Especially after that fucking... that goddamn snuff film that Schumer and Pelosi shot, which they recorded before they heard Trump's address, by the way. It's not playing well, folks.
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If
All
the
right,
victim
I'm gonna
was
skip
alive
past
when she entered the
this.
tub, water would have
I
entered
can't
her
skip
lungs.
past this.
The water is violently
Thank
churned
you,
in the wind
Rockstar.
pipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest.
Okay.
Take a closer look at her head and neck.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly.
Look at that giant ass pill next to her head.
No shit. That is a horse pill.
You supposed to take those orally?
Bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Very good.
Hot. What? All right, fine. Fine.
Tell Me Man donates 20. Thank you very much.
Very unusual ring.
Metal
Apparently,
mythos?
she's an agent of the shadow.
The eyes are a classic
Yeah,
sign.
actually, I thought that too when you first
Bruises
said
tell
it.
their own story. I think one man held her down and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
It spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
All right.
Hey, I think I remember how you fixed this the last time.
What's up? Oh, you go out and you run back in. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I just forgot to last time. That's what I'm gonna do. You can keep asking questions during all this bullshit. I'm just, I'm catching up.
Okay. I don't want, dialogue to overlap, but okay, I'll talk over him.
Jacket.
No, it's fine. Everyone understands you're a faggot.
45
What?
would wear one.
That's not. Demonetized.
See what I have to put up with?
What?
Tell Me Man says, Metal Mythos on Mortiferous win.
Looks like barbiturates.
No shit. Everything's barbiturates. By the way, never. There's no reason.
Never. Okay. Just making sure.
Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing?
Trago says,
Double Dragon Donger.
now that next-gen rumors are coming in hot, what are
Benzos? I didn't catch that last time.
What are either of your hopes for next-generation consoles and next-generation games?
The success of Red Dead speaks really well, although, the industry has a way of copying. Even when a good game comes out and other people copy it, they only copy the shitty stuff for some reason. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
You see, we've seen that happen so many fucking times. You know, like the first Mass Effect comes out. What did everyone copy? The shitty third-person shooting mechanics and squad shit. It's like, what the fuck? Copy the role-playing. What the hell? And all the choices and stuff. So I could see, like, only the shitty stuff getting copied. Like the boredom.
Mounted Patrolman says Cyberpunk 2077, and I actually discussed this with Razor. I think it was a week ago or so. The reason that all these really high-end games are waiting, I bet you they're waiting for the PS5 to be announced. And
Cyberpunk 2077 is waiting because Cyberpunk 2077 has serious developmental problems.
Yeah, well,
that's why
that
they're
too.
waiting. It's pretty obvious. They called their own employees liars when they pointed that out, by the way. Fucking CD Projekt.
Classy people.
Just class.
But that's
This is all top-end stuff.
Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Elder Scrolls 6. Although they were working on Fallout 76.
Been a modeling assignment.
And gosh, I'm glad they did, huh? That went well.
Place to start.
I mean, I think they've been working on Starfield, though.
Yeah, I think that's going to come first, then Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor, just a rumor, that they were trying to rush Elder Scrolls 6 to make up for the loss of Fallout 76.
I think that's just fanboy bullshit.
Yeah, I don't put much stock in it. But yeah, as far as the next-gen consoles, I think, honestly, PS5, they have to listen this time. Full backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
Too many people have been screaming about it. And this PlayStation Now shit is just not working.
Got cocaine on it.
Help us.
I can't think of a single person
The console,
I know who
like, the
uses it.
PS5 needs some fucking features. The fucking PS4 was so bare. It was just so and so incongruous too. You could tell the UI. You could tell different aspects of the console were made by different departments and didn't really fit together. You know, if you tried to do one thing while you were doing another thing, it would be fucked up. Like a good example of that is trying to listen to music on Spotify while playing a game. Like on Xbox, that's a fucking breeze. You literally open a side menu, pow, you're instantly listening to music. On fucking PS4, you have to go back, you have to open the fucking Spotify app. When you open Spotify, it suspends your fucking game. Then you turn the music on, then you go back to the game, which unsuspends, and then, God forbid, it shuffles to a fucking song you don't like, and you have to go back and skip. Like,
This Green Beret's gonna kick your big ass.
I eat green berets for breakfast.
Right now, I'm very hungry.
Like, it's just, they need to figure that kind of shit out. Another problem is, in order to shut the console off, you have to log in first. Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? Who the fuck tested that and was like, oh shit, yeah, we can go to market with this piece of shit, and they still haven't fixed it. If you accidentally turn your console on, you first have to log in, then go through like 4 different fucking menus, and then you can fucking exit your console and turn it off. It's like, oh man, bullshit. Oh, sexist.
I doubt it.
Okay, now I'm gonna skip out real quick. Go out the door, see if it saves.
Yeah. That sucks. You actually have to leave the building.
You don't just have to leave the building. You have to go across the fucking street. At least. Yep, saving. There we go.
Chris Yulotowski says, just got me a Walther P38 from World War II.
Nice.
I love it, but it feels lonely without a 98K Mauser.
Nice.
No
Gotta
betting
love that
message.
Mauser action, although I'm partial to a Mannlicher, personally. I like that straight pull.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee says.
Okay.
Happy New Year, Razor and Taryn. Thoughts on ECW?
I was never a big ECW, Mark. What about you?
No, not really.
Never a big... I don't hate it. I liked some of the characters. I liked some of the booking. Paul Heyman's great at that kind of stuff. The hardcore wrestling, I wouldn't defecate on. Like, I don't give a shit about hardcore. Although there were good matches, some of the more scientific matches and stuff between like Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and stuff, it was cool from like a technical aspect, although there was no storyline attached to those pieces of shit. But yeah, like I dug certain things about ECW and other things, whatever. Speaking of which, did I tell you?
Huh?
You remember Mortis from WCW?
Yes.
Remember his manager, James Vandenberg?
Yeah.
Ponytail guy, mustache, beard, whatever. He went on to go to ECW and whatever. He worked as the Sinister Minister. Probably my favorite manager of all time. Probably. Cuts a great promo. He's like, has this evil satanic minister gimmick kind of a thing. Kind of like a satanic pimp. He fucking shot me a PM and said, I love your promos, dude.
Really?
I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Promos.
Fucking James Vandenberg, Mortis, who was my favorite WCW wrestler. I loved that gimmick. Fuck anyone who says otherwise. That was a cool fucking gimmick. It was way cooler. That whole storyline was supposed to launch Glacier, but Mortis totally upstaged him. Everybody got into Mortis.
Yeah.
Because he had a cool look, and Canyon was a great wrestler.
Come on, Glacier was just a Sub-Zero ripoff.
Yeah, I mean, he was an okay wrestler. Glacier was, it wasn't bad or anything, but, And I guess Mortis was supposed to be Shao Kahn, but didn't really work out that way.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
But yeah, he gave us some props. That was pretty cool.
I'm just so shocked.
Did he name something
I feel
specific?
Like there's something I should be doing.
No, all he said was, love your promos, dude. That's all he said.
I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am.
You're gonna end up in Japanese hell. Disgrace to your ancestors.
Miss Julie doesn't have any family.
I can't get it up.
Someone has to set her affairs
That's
in
something
order.
else we're gonna have to work on. That's yeah.
Mr. Henderson, maybe? What was there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact.
Okay. Look at this evasive bitch. What should we do? Victim's state of mind.
Was Miss Randall depressed about something?
Here we go.
No more than normal.
So, she's got to be lying here.
What are you hiding here, Miss?
I'm going to go with the prescription.
Julie was obviously disturbed about something.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so what? I think you're right here.
Prescribed for troubled sleep and depression.
Yeah, it's gotta
I'm
be
going
the pills,
with sleeping
right?
pills. Whoa. Ooh. Possible suicide and sleeping pills. Those are the two.
Hold on. Stop right here. This is another problem I have with this game.
Yep.
Because basically, this is the same piece of evidence.
Yep.
You have the sleeping pills separately, but then you have suicide related to sleeping pills.
Yep.
Why aren't these the same thing?
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And they don't count.
And I pointed
It's the
this
same
out
thing.
in the review of this game, too. I was talking about how, like, you'll have, somebody will have killed someone, and you're questioning them. And you find a knife and a gun.
Here all day waiting for you. Her face beneath the water?
Shut the fuck up.
I need to do something.
Actually, I'm gonna pause. There'll be a dead guy, and the murderer. You'll interview the murderer, and the victim was stabbed and shot, and you find a gun and a knife. And you say, "Hey, you killed the guy," and he says, "Nope, I didn't," and then he looks all sketchy. And you say lie, and then you go to the list of evidence. You could go with knife. You could go with gun. But thanks to Rockstar, it's only one of the two.
Yeah.
And it's a total fucking crapshoot.
People are saying pills here, and use the pills.
Yeah, I'm going. Get pills against my orders.
She was taking barbiturates. She couldn't sleep. You must have seen them in her room.
You've seen the pillbox, the things she hid in there. I don't know how she supported herself. Always new clothes and jewelry. She lived like a movie star. A princess.
Yeah, she hopped on some dick.
Does modeling really pay that well?
Asim Jessen says, a percentage system would have been much better.
Well, you do have hints. You can use what other people have answered and what have you, you know.
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
Yeah, that's...
Now this I don't fucking know.
Is this
I hit doubt last time, so it's not that.
Okay, so it's not doubt.
And it's not truth, so it's got to be lie.
Why are you lying to me, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julia had men stay here.
I will not speak ill of the dead. You can't prove that.
Can you prove that men were here?
The picture.
Or the smoking jacket, which is
Oh, right.
Who owns the smoking jacket?
I wouldn't like
Hugh
to
Hefner.
details, you understand. That's Mr. Henderson's.
Nothing uncouth comes from a man in a smoking jacket.
Jacques Hughes.
You seem very much in love with her.
Where would we find him?
I'm sorry. I don't know. He said he lives in San Francisco.
You lying commie!
Perversity out of San Francisco? Well, I never.
What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
You commie piece of shit! Okay. Doubt was last time. Oh, no. Actually, I think I hit truth last time. This strikes me as a doubt. I don't know what to do here. Because this is basically Simon Says.
What was the question? I wasn't paying attention. I was watching the chat.
Are you happy to work here, basically? And she gave a weird kind of look. I mean...
Yeah, this strikes me as... Because
strikes me as a doubt.
Because you don't have anything between her and her employer.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, I'm guessing doubt, yeah?
Mrs. Reynolds,
there we
go.
go.
There's something you want to tell me.
She was very high-strung. Lovely one moment and screaming at you the next. She wanted it all, and she wanted it damn quick.
And I want it now.
So beautiful, it seemed like she was going to get it. Not the way it's turned out, though, is it?
Thanks, Mrs. Reynoldson. You've been very helpful.
You commie piece of
One of the
shit.
other detectives will take your statement, and then you can go home.
Filthy fucking red! Okay, the...
Nick McBurnett says...
Huh.
Sorry, Nick
the music
Burnett.
is still playing.
Speaking of gun channels and mud tests, Military Arms Channel is one of the best.
Never watched it. One of my favorites, and it's really more of a Western gun channel, is actually here at Arizona. It's called the Arizona Ghost Riders. And they just talk about Old West history and Old West firearms and shit. I think they're out of Tucson. Not that we should hold that against them.
Black Bull 77 says, "Hey Razor, with the assault weapons ban coming and Trump looking to sign it, how long until Dems finally get into power and call for martial law against gun owners?"
I definitely don't think that's happening anytime soon. The music's still playing. That's throwing me off.
Did you examine all 3 pictures? Maybe it's counting one of them?
I don't know. I thought I did. I'll go check again, but what the fuck are you doing, pal?
You want to go digging around in drains trying to support Mal's theory? You go ahead.
Get the fuck out of my way!
Oh my god.
Are you Alright.
Cthulhu Comes says, "Love you and your channel, Razor. What's your opinion on NieR Automata?
I haven't played it. I've heard it's good.
Also known as Android Fetish Samurai Maid Simulator 2016. It's so good
Yeah,
that
it
you
looks
would...
pretty anime. I'm not going to pretend it looks like something that's up my alley.
It's so good that you would barely believe that Square Enix and Platinum Games had anything to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The trash can?
Is that what they're saying? I don't see any trash can. Where?
I don't know.
Trash can, trash can, trash can, trash can, trash can.
Is it one of those that's like underneath the sink?
No. This motherfucker. He is like professionally irritating right now.
In the hallway of the apartment? In the hallway outside the apartment.
In the hallway outside the apartment. Okay. Interesting.
Stefan, Rusty,
Oh,
we'll take a
shit.
look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
I see.
You think Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm a Galloway. I've met enough girls in my time who can't handle their dope.
Right? Says they take a right?
Hi there. Oh my. Oh, hello, Surette.
Mal will be pleased.
Well, that's hardly conclusive, given the number of those things we've come across recently.
The autopsy will confirm it one way or another.
I think our work is done here.
I think this is the key to all of it. A bit like Jar Jar in episode 1.
What, garbage? Andrei Ivanovic says, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the DS9 of manga. The more you read, the better it gets. I recommend it.
Okay, the music's still playing. Is it just being retarded? I think it is. Do I need to talk? Well, the fucking coroner's gone. I don't think I need anything else. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes the music just keeps playing even when you found everything, which is annoying. But I think that might have happened here, but I don't know.
I'm not sure what else.
I'll swing back just to look for the medical examiner. That's the only thing I could think. But I think,
we already looked at the pictures.
but I think he's gone.
I was going to scrub the bathroom. And there she.
No.
Floating.
They bagged and tagged her ass.
I really can't talk about this anymore.
Continuing, I recommend it. Also, I recommend Digibros content if you're looking for anime that's actually good. Keep on keeping on, brother. Well, thank you. I've tried to tell him that JoJo's is good, but he's picky about his anime. Check the planter outside the door.
The planter? No, I actually already checked that.
Okay. Garrett Wilson donated 20. Thank you. What are your 3 favorite power metal albums?
3 favorite power metal albums. Liege Lord, Master Control. Ingve Trilogy. Yeah, I don't see it outside the door.
Did you question the neighbors? Did you knock on any doors?
I didn't see any. Like, I walked up to some of the doors and it didn't trigger anything. It didn't, there was no event. Yeah.
And a couple of people have suggested checking the drains outside, the storm drains.
Storm drains. You see, now you people are just fucking with me.
Bring me a body bag.
Exactly! Storm drains!
Oh, and did you get to all three of your favorite?
Okay, yeah. Liege Lord, Master Control, Ingve Trilogy. What would be a third one?
You're letting me loose?
You know, I have my issues with them, but I really like Manowar Louder Than Hell a lot. Even though it's a little more of a straight heavy metal album than some of their more power metal-y kind of shit.
Very good, very good.
There are no storm drains, you lying sacks of shit.
Masahiro the Master Hero says, have either of you trained in the martial arts?
When I was a little kid, I did karate, you know, like we all do. When we all want to be Ninja Turtles. But, no, I was never a fucking martial arts guy.
Melfist Sky wants to know thoughts on the last night losing its funding because of the SJWBS.
What? Oh, did they deplatform them on fucking PayPal or something?
I heard that they had trouble recently. I hadn't heard that it was
that fucking
people
game.
deplatforming
That fucking
them
game looks so good. I will fund it myself if I have to.
Yeah, that looks amazing. Like they're pushing, they're pushing really hard to what that engine can do, and it looks great.
I wonder where I should go. My past experience with LA Noire tells me to go to the dress store first. What do you think? The doctor that prescribed her all the junk?
No, the dress store, definitely.
Okay.
Because the doctor could be a suspect.
You drive.
Well, so could this dude.
Well, I mean, whoever...
I mean, this is a steady fella.
Kowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there.
Oh.
Almost brought a tear
I didn't
to my
realize
eye.
he'd be
They're
at the
good
dress
police.
store.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast.
Maybe you
barely
do
had
want to
time
see the
learn
doctor
names.
first.
Let me fill you in.
What?
Bukowski's a pushover.
I said maybe you do
Galloway's a
want to
drunk.
see
You
the
could learn
doctor
a thing or
first
two
then.
from both of them.
Like, whoever would be the
Advice
suspect,
life depended on.
like,
I don't
leave
see
them
why
last.
they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
Alrighty.
Alright, where did I leave off? First, let's see if they have anything to say.
I'm gonna have to look around first, so you go ahead.
Alright.
By the way, black and white is the only way to play this game.
Windy Wave says, hey Razor, I just got a job in Phoenix, so I'm moving to the beautiful desert lands.
Fuck yeah.
Any good radio stations you'd recommend?
Man, the really good one we used to have was 93.3 KDKB. They went away a few years ago, unfortunately. Honestly, I mostly listen to AM radio. You know, musically, like the big one here is 98 KUPD, but they're not very good. Although late at night on weekends, they'll do like actual metal shows and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, it could be worse. They're not that bad. Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. As far as AM, I really like 960 The Patriot, 1100 KFNX, stuff like that. KFYI's dog shit. Okay.
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning.
Oh, come on.
How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
She's not deceiving.
Yeah.
Could you tell us why you let Miss Randall go?
Husbands sometimes come in here with their wives. When Julia Randall modeled, the husbands were often more interested in her than they were their wives' dresses. The wives weren't happy, and neither was I.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer.
I'd like to get maximum horror out of her.
These gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, a wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to me.
I'm very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look?
Yep.
That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you.
Huh.
How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
Not deceiving.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
She doesn't look like she's deceiving me.
Yeah.
She was wearing a sapphire engagement ring. Someone must have given it to her.
She never mentioned a man named Henderson to me.
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Your friend's dead.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Unlike my eyes. I love how faithfully they recreated 40s LA, though. Still fucking blows me away.
Okay, let's pick up.
All right, let's talk with the doc.
BoJack Outlaw says, "Hey Razor, speaking of commies, I saw something that scared the crap out of me. I saw flyers for the Dem Social of USA Boise chapter with pictures of Che Guevara.
Yep.
What's with this people and his mass murderer?
You can thank Rage Against the Machine for that bullshit, for making that mainstream. Put it on a fucking band t-shirt, suddenly it's a fashion statement. This looks like a nice place.
The Mr. Schnicker says there were times I didn't even need the map to get around. Apparently they put a lot of detail into this.
They did. It's condensed, but the great thing is, because of the period, you know, even if you lived in LA, it wouldn't quite be LA. You wouldn't quite be able to orient yourself, you know what I mean? What are we looking for? What the fuck are we looking for? Hold on a second.
What was the doctor's name?
Yeah, Dr. Stoneman. I'm not seeing a fucking Stoneman.
Okay.
Somebody who's using alias. Oh, wait. There we are. There he is, 5th floor.
Here, Stoneman, office 505.
Barack Obama.
Yes!
Versus Ronald Reagan.
Yeah!
Says. Hello to the people's champ and his jabroni.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to
By
work
people's
half
champ,
days.
I mean Taryn.
Yeah, I saw that rather obvious, barely comedic reversal coming. Ooh, love that lighting. The effect of that would be completely lost in color.
In Silent Hill 3, you never get to see up that teenager's skirt. That must have been some super blue balls for the average Japanese man. Does Razor like Kurt Angle?
Yeah, I always liked Kurt Angle. Mainly because of his promos. Like, the guy was great. He picked up pro wrestling so fucking fast from, like, a entertainment standpoint. That's the thing that impressed me the most. I don't give a shit about his matches and his athleticism. Whatever. I was just way into his promos and, like, his ability to get heat. Like,
Yes, sir,
he got it immediately.
LAPD, we'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have
I'm
some
gonna keep just going up and down like this. I hope you don't mind.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Your investigation is much more important than my sciatic.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
Well,
do you actually?
Yeah, here's the
check
thing.
your evidence real quick.
July 46.
Oh,
So he's known her a while.
Yeah, ooh, that's a lie.
Julia Randall has been your patient for nearly a year. I'm sure you know that.
Do you doubt my veracity, Detective?
Yep.
I doubt the fuck out of your
Access to my
veracity.
patient records?
I doubt the living shit out of your veracity.
Your prescriptions contradict you, Doctor.
Miss Randall was in the fashion business, as you probably know. She was jumped up on Benzedrine by day and knocked down by sleeping pills at night.
She was
I
Elvis.
told her to slow up, but no. Life was too short for her.
And you supplied the prescription for the Benzedrine.
It's not illegal, Detective. A lot of young women in her line of work use it for weight loss.
Asim Jessen says, have you read The Big Sleep by Chandler?
Of course, of course. I have it actually in several collections. It's a great story. It's a great story. Although I really like his shorter stories like Killer in the Rain, the stuff that's not really Marlowe, but like it's proto-Marlowe. He was working toward Philip Marlowe shit. Yeah, I really like that stuff.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Because the thing about The Big Sleep is that story, you know, these stories were originally written in pulps. So in order to turn them into novels, what Chandler would do is he would take one story and smash it into another one. And then if he still didn't have enough for a novel, he'd smash it into another one. So like The Big Sleep is, I think, 3 different pulp stories smashed into one, and which is why the plot is so needlessly complicated. I talked about that a little bit in the Film Noir archives I did on that.
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
Wanted to control her weight.
Nice timing, nice timing.
I'm not sure if I should doubt. He is a little evasive.
Benzedrine is addictive, as I'm sure you know, Doctor.
Actually, they didn't know that in the 40s.
Yeah.
As I warned her, but she was determined. She said she needed it to control her appetite.
Sounds like you knew her pretty well.
I knew the line of work she was involved in.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
You don't mind if I poke around, right?
I'm a cop. He's little people.
Doesn't give me anything to go on.
Fuck if it's gonna stop me.
Mace Didn't Do says, been sending my boomer dad your rants. He loves them, but I suspect he's not getting the movie Bob references.
He will, in time.
Phelps.
Of course, here's the thing. In order to get the movie Bob references, you have to know who the fuck he is. And movie Bob has this thing where he hasn't been relevant in like 5 years. Like, he has this thing where he's attached to like major fucking websites and they whore the living shit out of his stuff, and his website was owned by the same people who own the Howard Stern blog, and so they shilled several of his videos and he still didn't get popular because he still doesn't have this little thing called talent. But yeah.
Mysterious
It's about the only little thing about him, incidentally.
Huh. Mysterious Senor Hilter says, will Macron's presidency survive 2019? Press X to doubt.
Thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over.
Just snakes inside of her. We're not sure what's up with that.
One of my favorite DePaulo bits. What else did I realize about the Kardashians? Oh, yeah, that's right. They seem to enjoy black cock. Anybody else picking up on this? I love that black snake. Yum, yum, yum.
Tell Me Man donated again and asked about the Mortiferous mythos. But we already covered that. But thank you again for donating.
Already fucking covered it.
Mr. E's Absurdities and Atrocities says, missed the last stream. Here's the almost $5 I promised for your school shootings joke.
Oh. Really? A teacup and a fucking...
This cup looks suspicious.
Oh, is that the door? See, this is the problem. You can't see the gold doorknobs.
Yeah. Mark Hodge.
Love that Venetian blinds effect.
Mark Hodge says, if you could build your dream video game right now, what genre would it be? And what metal albums would you select for soundtrack? And why would it be Sabaton?
Oh my god. Did you see the guy from the Great War channel is doing a channel with Sabaton? A history channel with Sabaton?
Really?
Yeah, totally.
But what genre would your game be? Stealth, it would be, right? Or...
I would only use metal if it was appropriate. Like, people think that I put metal in my videos because I'm a metalhead. Bullshit. I don't put metal in my fucking film noir archives. I don't put metal in videos where it's not appropriate. I put metal in our videos because it's music that gets you pumped and isn't rap. So it's appropriate because fucking the videos are high energy and we go straight for the jugular, so heavy metal makes sense, right? It's a form of music that makes sense in that context. In film noir archives, jazz or blues or something, it's more of a video essay and it deals with 40s cinema. So of course you would use jazz and smooth jazz and all kinds of shit like that. So I would say whatever the form of music is that's most appropriate to the game is what I would fucking use.
It's a strange reaction to have to the death of a young patient.
Where's my... Why do you park over there?
Asa asks, will Macron be getting a video? Best do it now when he's still alive.
Boy, those French people, they sure waited a while to give a shit about their country.
Yeah, it was just almost falling apart.
Motherfuckers, you did have an election a short while ago. You actually had a choice.
Have you noticed how croakers only pull out the...
But in fairness, like, the reason the whole anti-Macron thing is happening, or is working...
There are certain things people...
Shut the fuck up. The reason it's working is because it's kind of united the right and the left, the people who are dissatisfied on the right and the left. Like, the yellow vest people are not just... They're not just righties. It's lefties and righties. And that's why Macron is supremely fucked. Because it's both sides.
Have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks, and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Whoa. Passed it. Hey, stop that.
No debonair nerd. We haven't gotten there yet.
What?
Oh, he's just asking something in the chat. Let's see. Trago says, thoughts on several games switching to the Epic Game Store over Steam and PC. Even Ubisoft is making the switch with The Division 2.
That's odd, because don't they have their own store?
Yeah, that is a bit weird. Maybe Epic just paid them. That's probably the answer.
That's probably yes.
Epic just paid them for the exclusives. Like Subnautica is now on
exactly.
Epic. A mistake, by the way, because I mean, even with Fortnite, you're not going to beat Steam. I mean, come on.
Head on over to the morgue. Check out my interest in modern gaming. Oh.
Hey, look, it's THQ.
Hey!
Yes, Detective. He's waiting for you in the examination room.
Hey, it's 50+ major developers and publishers over the last 10 years, but we're not in a crash, guys. Where did she say?
FAF says, stop censoring my name, Taryn. I'm sure that your sinful desires can be cured with prayer and electroshock therapy.
Paul, Roy,
Thanks for weighing in, Mike Pence.
Does Razor like ECW? We actually already covered that.
Bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All
Zip.
right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 syrettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening now.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Somebody's cleaning up.
We'll check it out.
I found something else.
And a career burglar would be a great guy to break into the apartment, right?
Yep. What's this?
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. Send him over.
Oh, Jesus.
They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mal. Thanks for the lead.
You know he just did your goddamn job for you. All right. What? Why are you taking me out of the? Where's the? Where's the fucking police station proper? Oh, right. It's right ahead of me.
Brazier
Gotcha.
says, hey, Razor, and the other one. Thanks. Why was the terrorist late for the ISIS training? Because he had to drop his wives off at daycare.
No.
Also, any chance of a Call of Juarez gunslinger stream in the future?
You know, I've almost done that so many fucking times. It will happen at some point. Either that or Bonded by Blood, or
Mr. Arnett.
Bound
I'm
by
Detective
Blood.
Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in. Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
That's not a creepy pedo stare. Okay, here we go. Actually.
Really? That's everything you need? I have more for you, Detective. I'm sure of it.
Damn it. I need to save. Fuck.
How well did you know Julia Randall? Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
Well,
seems legit so far.
Oh, come on!
What?
That is some fucking horseshit. Ugh.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Now, you can't prove that, so I'm gonna guess doubt.
Damn it.
I mean, you don't have any evidence, right?
Did it would it save after the fucking morgue sequence? I would think.
Maybe? I wasn't paying
I would
attention.
fucking think it would. Ugh. Because I know exactly what I should have done there. I should have confronted him with the fucking picture message, because it had its shit on it.
Right.
Oh well,
Well,
we're
I
about
mean,
to
that gives
find
us
out.
more time
I
here.
fucking hate this save system, by the way.
Asim Justin
Hate
says,
it like poison.
will you be visiting England anytime soon? We have a nice lemon-colored vest for you.
Are the yellow vests catching on over there, too? I thought that was more of a Parisian thing.
It's spreading everywhere, dude.
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps.
Nice.
Go help him get whatever it is
Good.
off his chest.
Nice. Before I do that, I'll be right back.
His chair almost spun and hit his mic. Yeah, it's all of Europe. That's what I thought. Things are getting bad. Did you guys actually see they wheeled out a guillotine in France? Oh, that was great. It's like, are you getting the message yet? Bullshit. Yellow vests in Canada? Oh, that would be amazing. Ireland too, huh? Yeah, we're in the same room. I've only ever been streaming at home when I played MechWarrior Online with him. No, we haven't talked about that yet, Peyton.
Let's see here. Oh my, here we go. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Where's the damn interview room?
Yeah, Malachi, we're both looking forward to Resident Evil 2.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps.
Oops.
Detective Earl.
Keep going.
Thanks for coming in. Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
All right.
We're trying to get to all of them, Conrad. It's just for more story stuff like this, it's
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all
bit
the
trickier.
details of Julia's private life.
Now this is the tricky one. I'm gonna use intuition. Ask the community. Do I trust the retards who play Rockstar games? Do I?
Go ahead. Because you know remove an answer is just going to give you bullshit.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Henry, I don't like
You're
when
gonna end
people
up
lie
in
to me.
Japanese hell.
She was seeing a man
disgrace
named
to your
Henderson.
ancestors.
You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, Detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east.
Shit.
I mean, you got some info there, so there's got to be something, right?
Clearly. Oh!
That's funny. Julia told her cleaning lady that he lived in San Francisco.
Okay, you got me. I don't know where he's from. Julia wanted money. She always wanted money. She thought she could get something from this guy.
She was wearing a distinctive engagement ring. Do you think she might have convinced him to buy it for her?
Maybe he did, yeah. Maybe he and Julia were getting serious.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business. And
Now this is the fucking picture.
model
Come clean with us, Arnett. Was Miss Randall your mistress? Is that how she could afford such a lavish lifestyle?
That's a ridiculous allegation. How could you possibly prove that I paid for Julia's things?
Oh shit, oh shit, he's looking in his notebook. Fuck.
What?
Does he have something on me? You don't have any proof.
It could be the ring.
Maybe the ring? Sonic R1 says it's the ring. We can blame it on Sonic R1 if it's not the if
It's
not
true.
The ring, yeah.
We can make an example of you if we fuck up. We'll just go ahead and blame you if that's.
We were strictly busy.
Okay, where's the ban- How do I ban
Press
people?
F for Sonic R1.
Yeah.
No, in fairness, there were 2 rings on there. And as we all know, the developers decide arbitrarily that one item of evidence.
Did you
that
select
could
the
be
pearl
used.
ring instead of the black sapphire
I
ring?
selected the black one.
Okay, then yeah.
It was blacked.com.
Yeah, but people were suggesting it was just doubt, which I'm not sure about. I doubt it. Oh no!
I think you should have doubted that pun a little harder before you said it out loud. I think.
Well, I'm doing that and reading at the same time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is a very strange layout, actually, when you really analyze it.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl.
All right.
Coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do.
What do I know this guy from?
Terrible news about Julia.
He
This
kind of looks
actor-
like the dude from Mad Men, but I don't think he is.
Well, most of the people in this game are from Mad Men.
That's true.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Right.
Henry, I don't like when people lie to me. She was seeing a man named Henderson. You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, Detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east.
Tell, because he's greasy and has a thick accent.
You
When
notice
he
there-
gets in his car, the oil light comes on.
You notice there that he went out of his way to say he came from the
Julia
opposite
told her cleaning lady
coast.
that he lived in San Francisco.
It's like
Okay,
somewhere
got it.
east.
I don't know where he's from. Julia wanted money. She always wanted money. She thought she could get something from this guy.
All right.
She was wearing a distinctive engagement ring. You think she might have convinced him to buy it for her?
Maybe he did, yeah. Maybe he and Julia were getting serious.
Now this, I'm kind of clueless.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally...
All I can think is doubt.
Yeah, I that's a statement that I think I could doubt.
He's asking
Yeah.
whether you banged her in a chuck on the shoulder fraternity
Ah!
way.
I'm engaged to be married. It wouldn't be polite.
Polite?
Answer the question.
This will remain private. Heather won't have to know. Yes. We had relations.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
Now you can't prove it, can you?
I don't think so. The morphine. I mean, there's no connection between him and the morphine. I think it's just doubt.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Because you just heard about this and there's nothing to connect them.
Yeah, I don't know. With my luck, it'll be lie.
So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc would be involved in Julia Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
I don't care. I don't go in for letting gangsters off scot-free.
Some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
I'm proud of it. The Fighting Sixth.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies.
Oh,
We had a
boy.
lot of
Stolen honor.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
Class.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
This is my big gripe about this game is, like, it has the look and some of the visual stylistics of noir, although not all of them. It doesn't have the patter. It doesn't have the dialogue, the snappy, rapid fire. Like, it's very procedural. It's very 2011. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely reeks of post-millennial police procedural in terms of how the dialogue plays out. You'll get a little bit of lingo here and there, but, like, film noir is so much snappier in terms of the dialogue.
Before we continue, you had to do that a few times. Should we pound out a few of these?
Well, sure.
Kazikame says, South Africa, failed state win.
He's in that car at the
Are you suggesting it's going to be?
Hogan, we coming for you, says, in Alexandria OC's video, the white girl was thicker than her. She ain't no real Latina. Get Eve to do the fandango. Anyway, was Triple H good as a champion under Vince Russo?
He was building to it. I think the problem is Triple H played politics so hard at a certain point that he kind of got the whole company on a platter, and after a certain point, he didn't have to improve anymore. I think if Russo had stayed, he would have had more storylines. He would have had to improve the entertainment side of his game, whereas since he was basically running the whole fucking company after Russo left, he kind of got into a bit of a rut. Like, he kept building his body and he kept adding moves and stuff, but he didn't, like, as an actual entertainment-oriented performer, Triple H never had any sizzle, and he never learned it because he didn't have to, because the booking was so shit, and because he was running everything, and he was gonna be on top regardless, because he was boinking the boss's daughter. You know, he just kind of stagnated. And so that's where Triple H is. He's the guy who works with the popular star. He's not the popular star himself. You know, and I like Triple H for what he is, but he just never got to that place. Like, he's not even on Undertaker's level. You know what I mean? He's somewhere below there. He's the main event jobber guy. Like, I think Kane at times has had more sizzle than Triple H has, and more breakthrough appeal than fucking Triple H. It's weird. He's the guy who's theoretically on top, but not really, not in practice.
Nick Price says, hey Razor, I'm a lefty, but I really enjoy your content and don't begrudge you your views. Keep up the good work.
It's okay to be wrong. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Uzi Patrol says, hey Razor, my original comment didn't go through because I mentioned a senator who was once a DA in San Fran. Masters of the Universe strike again. Godspeed. Nobody messes with Adam Wee, says. Michael Bolton mythos win.
You know, Michael Bolton was legitimately a metal and rock guy in the beginning. Before he became a big, you know, AOR crooner. Michael Bolton submitted, back when Black Sabbath was looking for a fucking singer, he submitted an audition tape. He was literally one of the audition tapes for Black Sabbath in the early 80s was Michael fucking Bolton, because back then he was a rocker.
You're letting me loose?
Shit.
Clay Davis says, shit.
Dude, I'll take any nigga's money if they giving it away.
What's up, Mike O.M. Wiggas? Mike Wiggas, if you will. Sargon sounds like Stewie Griffin and looks like the bearded guy from Home Improvement.
It does look a little like Al Borland. A little bit.
Now would be a bad time to forget how to drive.
Both of you.
As if I ever knew how.
What percentage of white stereotypes do you guys fulfill?
Let's see. I love root beer. I
Yeah,
listen to rock music.
Yep. I'm bad at basketball.
I can dance, so I guess I don't fulfill that. I'm actually okay at basketball, so I guess I don't fulfill that one. I know who my father is.
Someone literally just brought that up in chat. That's fucking great.
This is a terrible, terrible, terrible stream. Like, you're all going to hell, or at least to Harlem.
Fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him. See how he intends to spend the money.
Hookers and blow.
Risk losing the trail.
Oh, obviously like a train ticket or a bus ticket or something.
Wait, what? Oh, I'm
Trying to
trailing
get
him
out
on
of town.
foot.
Trying to skip town.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Dean Thomas says,
There wasn't enough trailing people on foot in this game, it must be said. Now, this is going to be tough without color.
have you played any of the Saga series? And if so, what are your thoughts? It's a JRPG with minimum story and more open-endedness.
What is the Saga series?
Yeah. I figured as a Breath of Fire fan, you might appreciate it. No, I've seen the Saga series on shelves, but I haven't played them personally. I'm assuming you haven't either.
Nope. Habadoobin.
Zach Cornell donates 20. Thank you. Hey, Razor, I'd like to thank you for turning me from a socialist into a sane individual. Have some shekels. Yes, I'm Jewish.
L'chaim. Well, get the fuck out of my way. I'm an entitled-ass pedestrian. So in other words, a pedestrian.
Zach Sinkovich says, Razor, have you ever played any of the Pilot Wings games?
64 only. I never played the original. Oh shit. Oh shit. Lose him? Where'd he go? This motherfucker go.
Populi Suprema.
There he is.
Says, will you ever do a video or live stream of KOTOR 1 and 2? Or
I tried to stream KOTOR 2. It did not like the streaming software.
Yeah, guys, the thing with older games is just OBS does not pick it up.
It did not care for it at all.
Oh, here we go, story.
Pull those pistols and whistle Dixie.
That's right, Mexico City. 1 week.
That will be 1 day from now.
Thought
Is
so.
that okay?
It's going to have to be.
Trying to skip town.
The border being used to facilitate crime due to its porous nature.
LAPD.
Are you sure?
You bought a ticket?
Yes, sir.
I've been assured by CNN the border has nothing to do with a crisis.
Yeah,
I've been assured.
Rachel Maddow.
And if it
told
is,
me.
it would be a relatively recent occurrence, not something we've been dealing with for the better part of a fucking century.
Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good, but this is better.
Oh my God. It's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawn.
Nice. The achievement is called The Shadow.
Wow.
The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
Can I not Open it? Oh, there we go. Huh.
Fabergé cigarette case. Jesus.
Beverly. Well, okay. That's certainly going to be a pertinent item of evidence.
Go ahead, KGPL.
11K, go to Hollywood Station. Homicide detectives Bukowski and Galloway have information relating to the Randall case.
Roger, KGPL. 11K, en route.
Car 11K, Car 11 King, come in.
Car 11 King, go
What the
ahead.
fuck?
R&I reports the last arresting officer for DOA, Jimmy LeBlanc, was patrolman Fred.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn it!
What are you trying to do?
I didn't mean it. Well, it unfortunately it cut off the exposition there.
Oh, calling in?
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley's acting talent says,
Motherfucker.
Putting you through now.
Oh, I thought you were just saving.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
That's not how you say it.
How can I help, Detective?
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy LeBlanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thank you.
Gnarly. Okay, continue.
Daisy Ridley's acting talent asks, what's your favorite Spider-Man villain?
Ooh, that's a Rhino. Rhino, definitely.
Conrad Ford says, hey, Razor, your thoughts on the Civil War. Was the South justified in leaving the U.S.? If no or yes, what would be the reason why?
It was a heel program. The South had selfish reasons for what it did, and the North had selfish reasons for what it did. And the North, in some ways, forced the South's hand in the Civil War. So it was a bit of a heel program. I'm kind of on neither side. I probably sympathize a little more with the states' rights over federal rights argument, but the South kind of used that as a pretext to further their own interests, which is only human.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus two dames always equals problems.
Police station or 9th Beat?
Yeah, don't you need to talk to the cop?
That's what I'm thinking. Where is he at?
Rui Vasquez donates 20. Thank you very much. Hey, Razor, I don't have a good question this week or a good way to torment you. Here's some money. Now, look into Taryn's eyes and say something nice to him.
Oh, you're going to leave later. No, he's actually, you know what? I am actually going to pay him a compliment. The motherfucker is wearing a Deadly Premonition shirt as we record this.
Yeah.
He actually has a Deadly Premonition shirt on. And if you don't know what Deadly Premonition is, you are failing at gaming.
Megatron 95 says, question I'm trying to make sense of. I guess he's trying to say, when you do another Into the Comics video, are you doing a video about Conan the Barbarian? Just wondering.
No, I have an idea of what I'm gonna do next, and it's not Conan. Come on, man, long light, Jesus. Even had traffic problems back in the fucking 40s. Fucking LA. Speaking of which, I should probably spill the beans on the upcoming podcast.
Oh, yes, people have been wondering.
I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long while. I've talked about this before, but I'm not a fan of multi-subject podcasts. I don't like variety podcasts. I don't like, Joe Rogan, whatever. I don't have a problem with Joe Rogan personally. It's his format I don't like. I don't like, hey guys, it's news item of the week. Let's talk with guy involved in news item of the week. Let's do a long interview with that fucking person. And whisper into the mic and talk about how steroids are okay to use. But no, I'm just not a big fan of variety podcasts in general. I like podcasts that are dedicated to one subject and that get exceptionally deep into said subject. A good example is the early days of Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman podcast, where he was just talking about Batman, and he would interview, like he had an interview with Adam West, he had an interview with Kevin Conroy, with Paul Dini. He talked about specific Batman comics and movies. He did, commentary on all the movies and all that shit. Like, that was awesome. It really sucks a hairy fucking knob now, because now it's just a comic book variety podcast. Hell, fuck, half the time he talks about Hollywood. Like, he's not even talking about comics half the time on there. I'm not even sure if Fat Man on Batman exists anymore, or if it's just his variety podcast now, but it used to be awesome. So, without giving away the subject, and I have decided on it...
Whoa, hold on.
What?
People saying your mic got out?
Sorry about that. I may have accidentally hit...
Yeah.
Are we good?
Hold on. I'm about to find out.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you're on.
Okay, sorry about that. I think I accidentally bumped the mute button. That's my bad. Without betraying what the subject is actually going to be, because I want to do a proper reveal, like with an edited trailer and everything, I have chosen the subject. I am going to be doing that podcast about that one single subject. It's a subject that is deep enough and has a long enough history that for hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of episodes, I could review a new item of media relating to it and never run out of material. So you guys can let the speculation commence, but I've always wanted to do this. It's something I've wanted to do for fucking years, and I'm finally going to do it. It's going to be nothing like my normal material. It's probably not going to be as big. No, it's definitely not going to be as big as my normal videos, and it's definitely not going to be as big as a lot of other podcasts out there, because by its very nature, I'm going to restrict myself to one subject, albeit while allowing myself some space to branch out and talk about things that are related to it. It's not going to be completely restrictive, but that's my idea. So, you guys can guess what the fuck it's about all you like.
Come on, let's give him a hand.
Somebody already...
But I've already decided.
Somebody's already guessed it. A podcast about Metallica.
This little prick in the alley.
What the hell? What? Shit. Where'd he go?
Get him.
Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa! Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at?
Throw out the guns.
Fuck! Every time I don't play this game for a while, I forget how to use the shooting mechanics. Oh, come on. That was almost a headshot.
You're covered, Phelps.
Got him. What about his buddy? Come on. Got you in the arm. Come on. Come on, prick. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's your 45 caliber lobotomy, cunt. A revolver? I wonder if you can use a revolver in this. Where's he at? Where's he at? Come on, you prick. Whoa, 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 what the fuck? Jesus.
Thanks.
Took him down shadow style that time.
Armed robbery. Knocked over a drugstore back there, and it looks like he brought his whole posse with him. Bad luck for them.
They're all yours now. We need some information.
Ever heard of a burglar goes by the name of Jimmy LeBlanc?
Sure. We nabbed Jimmy on a burglary beef a couple of years back. They cut through a music shop and into a jewelry store. He got 4 years. I miss his partner, though.
His partner?
Big guy. I had him cornered, and he picked up this huge display case and threw it out a plate glass window. Then he vaulted out of there like something out of Barnum and Bailey.
Got away.
I would have had him, except for LeBlanc yelling, "Run for it, Willie!"
And you think he was an acrobat of some sort?
More like a strongman, a wrestler, or a boxer, that kind of thing.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
Should make him easy to spot.
All right. Really? No further investigation to conduct there. Bunch of dead guys in a fucking alley.
Well,
no
you already know who did
required. Is there at least some fucking loot or something? Ammo? Hey, there is.
Inward N-word says, feminism, autism, vape, feels, gives me debts. By your powers combined, I am Bernie Sanders. By the way, Mecca's Grand Mosque
By the power of Bernie Sanders' 3 mansions.
Mecca's Grand Mosque is being swarmed by locusts. They asphalt. Is that true?
How do you...
Every career burglar has his name or his work on a daybook somewhere.
You're gonna end up in
Let's get
Japanese
back
hell.
to the station.
A disgrace to your ancestors.
You're suggesting LeBlanc is still working with Willie?
A strong man held down Randall while someone administered the morphine.
Huh.
Someone with muscle opened up LeBlanc's skull. Could be.
Well, okay, but that doesn't tell me much.
David NS84 says, just wanted to engage in a little chest pounding, but my MFA mentor advisor, himself a successful horror author, was urging me to shop around my thesis novel to agents and publishers. It's a post-apocalyptic neo-western, not a shitty literary novel.
Cool. I actually did one of those in comic book form. It was just like a short little 5-pager. But I mainly did it just to have because I'd never really done a short comic before. So I did one of those several years back.
Drew Johnson says, we got Red Dead Redemption 2, where's LA Noire 2?
No shit. This game sold very, very well. It was a huge success. Rockstar... I don't know how you feel about this. I always felt like Rockstar... They picked up LA Noire, finished it, and then they were kind of pissed that it was successful. Because it was like, even though they want to make money, it was like it wasn't a Rockstar thing. It's kind of like when Vince McMahon gets a lot of wrestling analogies on tonight's show for some reason. Sorry, guys. One track mind. It's kind of like when Vince McMahon gets a wrestler from another company, whose name he doesn't own. And so he just fucking takes a righteous dump on him and books them with fucking midgets and they're jobbing to Gilbert and shit, right? It's kind of like that. They didn't own it, so it was like they didn't really want it to be that successful. I feel like that's why there wasn't a sequel, even though this game was hugely successful.
The dope on LeBlanc. He worked burglaries with a big guy. Goes by the name of Willie. He might be our killer. Can you work boxing gyms, the Y, promoters, that kind of stuff?
Since when have you started giving orders, Phelps? And where's the burglary angle? There was no sign of a...
That's where our net comes in. Next stop, we speak to Lacey about a list of recent burglaries.
The guy's a bum. His office is a front, and he's behind on the rent and his phone bill.
And he's skipping town.
tomorrow.
Let's get him in and beat it out of him.
Do you want to bring in the killer, Rusty?
It could be too smart for your own good, Phelps. We've been talking about that, haven't we, Roy? Stefan?
Finbar? Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks. Is the cigarette case on there?
Billfold, assorted clothing.
No, but a pearl ring is.
Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
And a black sapphire ring.
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Okay, pearl ring.
Even the engagement ring was purloined. Arnett is a cad.
And the black sapphire ring was up top.
Yeah, so what am I looking for? Was it, maybe I'm looking for... No? The name of the person? What do I need here?
No, you already did the cigarette case. I think the last one you need to do is the black sapphire ring.
Which I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pearl ring. Silverware. Bond certificate. Well. Maybe.
Silver pill box?
Where?
Did she have a pill box in the apartment? Right there.
This ain't
Seems
over.
Julia wasn't the first bored society girl to hide her bennies in that pillbox.
Oh my. Investigate the Eavestrom residence. All right.
That bum took a flight and put him down in my staff.
And we have some time.
I heard he's an honest cop.
Yep.
Iron Piedmont says, did you hear Jim Acosta prove that walls work?
I did. God damn. You know, I'm surprised they're so it's no surprise they're so anti-gun given how many times the media fucking shoots themselves in the foot.
Vote Kyle 3000 says, you gotta watch...
Does a fire truck have a police radio in it?
You know what? I don't know.
I would assume it would.
That doesn't look like it.
Cole, what's wrong with a good old-fashioned black and white?
Bitchin'.
You and Rusty have been having discussions. Anything you would like to tell me, partner?
Phelps, don't be so touchy. Rusty had his best ever clearance rate working with you. Even if the cases he worked on can't be discussed. We were just comparing notes. You're a Booneroo case man, Phelps. One of the best I've ever seen.
Thanks.
You gotta learn to take a compliment, Phelps.
Vote Kyle says, you gotta watch their faces, and it's only a lie if you have evidence. Also, what's your top 3 pistols?
Fairy tales of the rich and famous.
More like pathetic tales of the desperate to be rich and famous. Junkie Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
Arnett, LeBlanc, and Willie.
Don't you go putting the pieces together again before they fit, Phelps. Listen to your old pal Rusty. Or should I say Finbar?
I wouldn't call him that if I were you.
What do you care? It doesn't sound like you're the top of his Christmas card list.
He gives everyone a hard time. That's just how he is.
Whatever gets you through the day, Cole.
What the hell?
We're driving 40s cars here, bud. They handle like a fucking bathtub.
Top 3 pistols?
Top 3 pistols. Mauser C96, naturally. I would go with Schofield revolver. And I'd go with, oh, shit. Wildy or 44 Automag? 44 Automag was not very reliable.
Yeah, I was about to say it
I
jammed,
would go
so.
with the Wildy, I think.
Vlad the Kebab Remover says, howdy, Razor
and that's
T
just for fun. The Wildy is not practical at all.
No.
Unless you're Bronson.
Howdy, Razor and T-Boogie. I checked out the He Walked by Night Great movie.
Oh, great fucking movie.
With an awesome climax. By the way, where can I get my own Terran? I need a new footstool. Just kidding. He's a strong, independent woman. Yeah. Tomo-kun says, good evening, and what is your favorite anime? That's an easy one.
Yeah, I've told this before. Record of Lotus War.
Yep. Dylan Killen says, hey, Razor and T-Goose, if you could remove the influence of a genre of music, what would it be and why?
You know what? People want me to say grunge, but I would say folk rock. Talk about a fucking contradiction in terms. Like, I don't hate folk, and I love rock, but fuck folk rock. Like, and the problem with folk rock is, like, all these shitty genres flow from it. You know what I mean? Like, indie is inextricably linked to fucking folk rock, protest music, and all this horse shit, Dan Fogelberg, like, all this garbage. I mean, and folk rock is such a superfluity, because what is it at the end of the day? It's some asshat with a fucking acoustic guitar. In other words, it's pretentious country. That's what it is.
Christ!
Ska.
Ooh, good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Because if you don't even... Many people in the chat are going to go, what the hell is ska? And if that's your answer, then you can live without it.
Yeah. Whoa! Jesus, this thing.
Scannick says, are you going to update your Steam curator with more recommendations?
Yes, absolutely. I only just started that Steam curator, so yes, absolutely.
And also thoughts on Nicholas Fuentes.
I haven't really seen much of his stuff. Fuck him for talking shit about us, though. Motherfucker. Oh, he dresses like an edgelord. Yeah, says the fucking 12-year-old who dresses like he's headed to a fucking high school dance. Fuck you.
Mal Roadkill says,
motherfucker shoots his fucking videos in front of a green screen at Gammy's house, and he's gonna fucking talk about how I'm a goddamn edgelord.
Wait,
just because your head is that fucking round doesn't mean you have to take it out on edges, asshat.
Nicholas Fuentes said something about you?
He did! Somebody was like, do you like RazörFist? And he's like, well, you know, I've seen a lot of people who have been like this and using edgy whatever the fuck. It's like, really, dude? You're gonna talk about lack of maturity while literally recording from your grandma's guest bedroom? Jesus fucking Christ, in your fucking JC Penney suit? Fuck off.
Story time.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
What?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
Oh, that happens when it goes to sleep.
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man? If you are returning 43 pieces of my property.
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Here, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Okay. So this was her cigarette case that was pawned? Alright, well, it did just save.
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, Detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
But.
Why are you lying about the value of your jewelry, Mrs. Eavestrom?
Who do you think you are, making heinous accusations in my own home?
Well, your cheekbones are a fucking lie. Why wouldn't your mouth be saying them?
We recovered the cigarette case from a pawnbroker. No one knows the real value of an item better than those guys.
I inflated its value for the insurance claim. There. Are you satisfied?
God, the facial capture is amazing.
Yeah, it's better than, like, you remember a few years ago when Call of Duty was like, look at our facial capture. We caught every errant smirk that Kevin Spacey shot at the Danish boy. You know what I mean? Like,
and then the dog's jaw dropped. That was the
I
best
know,
part.
right? Fucking, they were trumpeting how amazing the facial capture was, dude. This motion capture on the face is just curb checks it.
Yeah. The only thing that I have seen come close, and this is actually recently, is the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Come on.
It looks good, dude.
No, it's
looks
not
good.
in this league at all.
It comes close. I'm not saying it's in the same league.
It's not.
With the case. I think he was even more disappointed than I was when it was stolen.
Okay.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
A terrible night. At least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
At least a year ago. I get the feeling that was... a 12-month period?
Yeah, she's telling the truth.
She looks like she's telling the truth. I don't know.
Were you in the house when the burglary took place?
Good heavens, no. I was at a social function held by a Dr. Harold Stoneman and his lovely wife. I returned home and all of my things were missing.
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eastrom. The department will get
Stoneman.
in touch, let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother.
Oh, hi there.
Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask
Small
exactly
world.
the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, Mother and Father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
The fuck?
So he beds the women and then cases out the place.
Yeah, and then he tips off his gorillas.
Yep.
To go bump off some jewelry. And yes, I will be referring to them as gorillas for the duration.
We're missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging the burglaries.
That's my fiance you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
Put a sock in it, sister. You're being played by a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
Whoa.
Traffic, am I right?
Yep.
Well, that gives us time to read some more
There's
questions.
actually fewer California license plates on this street than on an Arizona one.
Mal Roadkill says, how is it that Senator Fineswine hasn't been splashed with water and melted into a shit puddle? I have a special hate for anti-gun vermin.
Talk about, like, I think that... Whoa, I just about ran that guy down.
You did not just...
I think that, honestly, look, she has no chance of getting that passed nationally because of how unpopular gun control is. Plus, she doesn't have a massive fucking tragedy to exploit. Like, nothing has come out recently that she can, like, jump on, which should be your first clue that this is really about grandstanding to her base. Never forget, like, she didn't get her own party's endorsement in the midterms. She's legitimately an embattled senator, and she has to wrangle up some far-left support, or she's not long for this fucking world. So I think that's honestly more about Feinstein trying to rally her base because she's seen as too moderate. And in an age where Ocasio-Cortez is seen as even marginally cognizant, you can understand why she would feel that way.
Sir Waffle says, thoughts on other old-school hip-hop groups like Wu-Tang Clan and a tribe called Quest?
I like a Tribe Called Quest. Wu-Tang, I don't really give a fuck about. I like, you know, I'm a big Public Enemy guy. I'm a big Digital Underground guy. I really like, you know, Spice One is kind of cool. Some of that stuff. After, like, 95, rap just lost it for me.
And Stealth Creation says, what is your take on the receding of journalist jobs by subsidizing outlets being unable to cover the local rural areas that Tim Pool mentioned at MythCon due to technology and online political analysis?
That was an extremely convoluted question. The receding of journalist jobs?
Yes.
So just the shrinking pool of journalists. I mean, really, you're just talking about marketplace contraction. Dude, the newspaper business has been dying since the late 90s. Physical circulation of all physical media was going down, and the migration to the internet has not been fucking smooth. You know what I mean? The news business latched onto the internet thing way too fucking late. And so a bunch of amateurs basically took over their spot. I mean, who was the first real prominent internet blogger? It wasn't the New York Times. It wasn't fucking CNN. It was Drudge. I mean, he broke the whole fucking Lewinsky thing. They were way behind the fucking 8 ball, and they've been behind the 8 ball ever since, and that was 1997. So, like, it's only exacerbated in the intervening years. I don't think it has so much to do with rural areas and all that. I mean, those might be contributors, but mostly it's just they made the same mistake record companies did when they were confronted by Napster. They didn't act on it quick enough. They tried to play how do you do, fellow kids, with the internet, and they never caught up. They never caught up, and that's why they're eventually going to die. And now with, you know, YouTubers and bloggers and shit doing their job better than they do and more objectively than they do, they're double fucked. They're getting a journalistic airtight.
Jonathan Ferrier says, with Metro Exodus releasing soon, what are your thoughts on the Metro series?
I've said this before. I've not really played any of them. Terengel has.
And I'm looking forward to the new one.
Yeah, I'm not the guy to ask about that.
James Bursey says, any hope for Anthem not being lame and destroying BioWare?
I mean, I'm sure it'll do okay. I don't know if it'll be any good. It doesn't look like something that interests me, but some people are excited for it. I don't know. I don't think it'll destroy BioWare. I think more likely it'll be kind of a middling success instead of a massive, like, earth-shattering one, but who knows? You can't really predict these things.
Also, Taryn, how many traps do you bang a week? And is it gay or just bestiality?
I don't know. Is your right hand a trap?
0, yes, and no.
Only when his right hand has a Chinese finger trap on
Let's
it.
find out who your fiancé really is.
Although he did get his first STD the other day. Carpal tunnel. If you could see his face. See, this is why we need face cam.
I'm sorry, are you a resident?
Huh? Oh, wait. Do we need to talk to this chump? Yes, we do.
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Sweet. That is tacky wallpaper.
Let's see if I can squeeze in another one here.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
John Horn says, just finished the Jurassic Park novel and was a tad disappointed. Malcolm is beyond preachy, and Grant becomes a suicidal prick in the last 20 pages.
Yep.
Your thoughts? Also, is Lost World worth reading?
Yes, I think Lost World is a better novel than the first Jurassic Park. I think Crichton nailed it on the second one a little bit more. And I like the premise of the story a lot more. I just think it was a much better idea for a novel, and it's a little better written. It's also a lot closer to the film than the first one was. I'm a big fan of the movie, for the record, of The Lost World. I like that movie a lot. What's up?
Before we hit the crescendo here,
okay,
we need to bang out a few of these because they're stacking up. Tyler Preston says, what's up, Razor and Terrence? 1. Have you heard about the APA's findings on how men's masculinity is somehow inherently toxic because of social construct? On a scale from 1 to 10, how retarded is all of this?
What's between Corky from Life Goes On? Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. They kind of want to have it both ways.
Bring me a body bag.
They simultaneously want to call all men ineffectual and fucking impotent. You can't fucking watch a commercial nowadays without being inundated with, can't get it rock hard, men, can't get it, you know what I mean? Like,
I put him away.
Losing your hair, losing your libido, losing your cock, balls falling off, you know? Does your wife have them in a fucking handbag? Like every other goddamn commercial. And then every other, if it's not that, it's every other sitcom where the wife is banging hot and she's always right and she's constantly being proven correct, and the husband is a great big fucking diabetic lump who's, you know, played for comic relief, who's a total buffoon. You know, if they want to have it both ways. They want to project that vision of masculinity in the media, but simultaneously they want to claim that all masculinity is toxic. So which is it? Are we fucking ineffectual sea mammals, you know, who are so fucking fat we don't even trip the automatic door at Walmart? Or are we just massive, steroidally enhanced fucking he-men? Like, which is it? Are we, you know, walking misogyny or a walking punchline?
Number 2, Heather Antos is now working for Valiant Comics.
I saw that, yeah.
Serpent21 says...
Well, Valiant Comics was already kind of grave-bound anyways, so, you know, might as well accelerate that process.
Serpent21 says, this game is great.
It
I
is.
hear you go out with Eva Green. Whoa, I'm going out with Brett Butler?
Huh?
Who the hell thought this through? Movie Bob? I'm not sure what he was going for there.
I don't know what the hell he was talking about.
John Simmons says, Vampire the Masquerade or Vampire the Requiem? Can I build you an AR-15 someday?
Masquerade. And I'm not a big AR. You want to build me something, build me a bolt-action rifle. I don't give a fuck about your modern assault rifles. I want a bolt-action military rifle. Give me a straight pull of some kind. Give me that Monlicher action or something. That's what I want.
Serpent21 says, best big man in wrestling, Bam Bam or Vader?
Oh.
And who wins this match of face Bret Hart versus heel Kurt Angle?
Okay, first question.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bam Bam started out much better than Vader. Like, much better. And probably Bam Bam was better down the road as like a pure worker at like working a match. Vader, though, I think got way better than Bam Bam ultimately. As he grew into his character and he grew into himself and improved as a worker, I think he way surpassed Bam Bam Bigelow. But they were both fucking epic. I mean, they were both incredible. And Bam Bam doesn't get nearly enough credit for how goddamn good he is. He apparently showed Vader how to do a goddamn moonsault. A fucking 400 or 500 pound moonsault. The dude was just a stud, and he carried that one WrestleMania. Which one was that? The one he wrestled Lawrence Taylor?
Oh, I fucking forget.
That was a good one.
It was good. That was a great ass match.
He carried Lawrence Taylor's ass through that. He did a great job at that.
And what was the other part of the question?
Was that 11? I think it was 11.
And who wins the match of face Bret Hart versus heel Kurt Angle?
Face Bret Hart versus heel Kurt Angle?
Yeah.
Depends where it is. If it's at WrestleMania, the face goes over. You know what I mean? Because there's no point in the heel winning unless you're going to have unless everybody's going to come down the line and then you're going to have the big payoff and make a bunch of money, which is usually at Mania. So if it's at Mania or one of those big shows like SummerSlam, yeah, probably Bret goes over.
And he says, you're wrong on both questions. It's Scott Steiner.
Yes!
He's fat! He's fat! Nathan W. donates 25. Thank you very much. Here's 25 for
my favorite thing in the world, by the way. There's this great interview clip of him where he's talking to some fucking chunder-brained goddamn mark. And this Mark is like, he's all meekly asking Scott Steiner. He's like, so, Scott, I heard, where'd you learn how to do a Hurricane Rana? And fucking Scott Steiner's like, first off, it's not called a Hurricane Rana when I do it. It's called a Steiner, a Frankensteiner. And by the way, I showed that to the fucking Japs. and they stole it. And like, he goes off. Like, he totally hands this kid his intestines. It's just some dweeb with a fucking microphone. He eats this kid alive and picks his teeth with him. I felt so bad for the kid, but it's great. Anyways.
Nathan W. donates 25 and says, here's 25 for some Terengel reading lessons. Entertaining stream as always. Godspeed, sir.
Yes, sir.
Stealth Creation says, have you ever checked out Pellic, anime music cover artist? He reaches millions of viewers and really hits the pitch to near perfect anime falsetto. No, I guess we'll have to check that out at some point.
I don't know what that means. I'm a little concerned.
Gamer Mods QC says, LA Black versus GTA Online. What is the best game?
What?
I think he means LA Black and White, LA Noir Black versus GTA Online. What is the best game? Well, I mean, GTA Online.
I never cared for GTA Online.
Yeah.
I still don't think Rockstar have really figured out online. Even with Red Dead 2, which I think is an improvement over the online in Red Dead 1, it's still kind of... I don't like how the individual missions are set up. I don't like how focused on PvP it is.
Yeah, it needs more group activities.
It really feels kind of like you're just kind of wandering around until somebody decides to be a douche and start killing people. It's not... I don't know. There's just something missing there. There's like a missing element.
Uzi Patrol says, who wins in a fight, Brainiac or Ultron? Brainiac's probably smarter.
I'd go with Brainiac.
Yeah.
I'd go with Brainiac on that one.
That'd be my call. Markod says, did you guys see the fan film Vader, Shards of the Past? If you did, was it good for a fan film or a good...
Star Wars fan films have a hit. I have not, for the record, seen it, but Star Wars fan films kind of created the fan film movement. I used to be really active on theforce.net, and I was even working on a fan film myself back in the early 2000s or so. But like, they're fucking cool. They're really fucking cool. Check out what, like, some of them are a little dated now, but you have to keep in mind, like, some of these fan films coming out in the early 2000s where people were using full-blown CGI and stuff, like, this kind of stuff hadn't been done at the time. They were heavily using green screen and had fairly high production values. There was one called Duality from like 2002 or so that was really fucking cool. That was all green screen and all like one dude in 3D Studio Max, and it was relatively professional for the visual standards of the period anyways. And it's only gotten more professional as it's gone on. So I'm sure it's cool.
See, this is how fucked up I am right now. We've been talking about wrestling so much. I assume that was a fan film about Vader. Which would be awesome.
Right.
He deserves it.
Well, you've probably, for the sake of your own sanity, put the entire Star Wars franchise out of your mind momentarily.
Generation Zyklon B says, considering Kavanaugh insanity, your thoughts on violence potentially breaking out if Ginsburg is replaced by Amy Barrett or any Trump appointee?
No, I mean, Antifa will hold one of their fucking impotent protests, and there's always violence when Antifa show up. But it's soy boy violence. It's take that trash can.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of storefronts are gonna get smashed.
Oh boy, if you're a fucking curb, if you're a trash can or a fucking ashtray, shit, you are fucked. Or if you're a storefront window, oh man.
Remember, Sally, when I
You're
promised
shaking
you
in your
the last-
jockstrap.
Oscar the Grouch better have insurance.
Yeah.
And we'll do
one more.
One more. Jay Center says, what would be yours and T-Boss's wrestler persona?
I used to do like a lame, well, not really a lame, kind of a little bit of a takeoff on Gangrel. Back in the day.
I actually would have the same answer.
I did kind of. I was instead of being, because his finisher was called the Impaler, I called myself Vlad, and I actually like sewed my own wrestling gear and stuff because I was actually in a local federation for a little while, like early 2000s. Like, I was really young. I was way too young, actually, to have signed a permission slip and done it legally. But the guy who ran the Federation, actually, there was a documentary in 2001 about hardcore wrestling. The guy who ran it, his name was Scar, and he was one of the primary subjects of the documentary. This guy was a fucking nut job. They called him Scar, by the way, because he had a giant fucking Sagat scar across his chest from some horrible stunt in a hardcore match that had gone wrong. I don't like hardcore wrestling, so I was totally out of place, but they had a boxing ring. You know, they had they ran actual shows and shit, so I actually wanted to get in on that, but that was a long time ago, and it was only like 1 or 2 shows. But yeah, back then that's what I did.
And for myself, I would honestly, I'd just be a member of the Brood. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, no, we kind of had our own kind of knockoff of the Brood. We called it the Brethren. It was kind of just a lame takeoff. You know, you needed something because it wasn't. We weren't gonna knock fucking, halcyon light bulbs over each other's heads or anything, or drop each other into barbed wire. So we had to have something else. We had to have a gimmick. I remember one of the guys went by Raziel, stole it from fucking Soul Reaver. Stole his name from Soul Reaver. But yeah, let's do this!
Stop! LAPD! Cole, this guy's our case. Go on, put your hands in the air.
Oh shit. Get down. Whoa, get down. Where's he at? Is he up here?
Give it up, LAPD.
Fucking camera didn't do me any favors. Shit. Whoa! Whoa! I didn't mean to do that. What the fuck, dude? What the hell? I was totally balancing there. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if I overcompensated or what the fuck. Let's try that again without fucking dying. Without pulling an Owen Hart.
Almighty Malachi wants to know if you have an opinion on the band Uriah Heep.
I like him okay. Not one of my favorites or anything, but they're all right. All right, let's try this without dying.
You just shoot him in the leg right there. That'd be great.
Don't make me chase you.
Oh. I think it's because I was holding down the run button like a retard. Are you shitting me? How many times does somebody have to do that to him before he catches wise?
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How'd I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around.
You know,
too.
that all could have been
He's all
gameplay.
hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry?
Oh, he's packed and ready to go.
Hey. Come on. Open the damn case. Thank you. What do we got here?
You told Heather you're honeymooning without her?
All right. What do we got here? Shiv? Oh, no, it's a watch. What?
Yeah, take a close look. Is it the stolen one?
Constantine. It's an extremely expensive watch, Henry.
A graduation present from my parents.
Bullshit.
Like, I take more exception to the idea that he graduated.
Daisy Ridley's acting talent would like to know what your thoughts are on the band
there anything
Coheed and Cambria.
Not so fucking much. Okay, whatever. Not a fan.
Really, now is not the time. Leave me alone.
Should I look around the apartment?
Yeah, definitely.
Do that real quick.
Jay Smith says, "Hey Razor, where did you get that Got Mit Uns shirt that you were wearing in your last comedy rant video?"
That's from the guys at CN Arsenal. Speaking of good gun channels, CN Arsenal, who do a lot of videos on World War II, World War I weapon. Actually, I think just World War I weaponry. They sell shirts, but they don't do it year-round. They do, like, these donation pledge drive things, and you can only buy shirts when they're doing them. They do them pretty rarely. So I donated to their little Kickstarter or whatever the fuck, and I got one.
Nice. And then say something witty about Sabaton.
Take a smarter man than me to connect that.
They sure are a band.
Well, no. He wanted me to say something.
Oh!
I don't know enough about it. Joss Rickett says, "What's the difference between heavy metal..."
You are missing out. Sabaton are a legitimately good band.
Okay. What's the difference between heavy metal and hard rock?
I would say hard rock is more blues-based. Heavy metal departs more stylistically. And on the whole is probably a little bit more technical. In terms of things like mixing and so forth, it's higher on the treble. And also higher on the bass at the same time. So yeah, those are generally your signifiers. Heavy metal also tends to have twin guitars and higher pitched vocals, though that isn't a hard or fast rule. All right, let's do this.
Here we go.
We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the leg.
You know, I take this a lot less seriously with his fucking Howdy Doody haircut exposed. I'm just saying.
Fashion business.
Wait, what? Professional burglary. Okay, so I assume contraband list.
You assume.
Fabergé cigarette case, maybe?
Oh, hold on. Somebody in the chat said something.
I'm thinking the cigarette case.
Let's see. Suitcase accused. Cigarette case accused. Ticket accused. Contraband list. The list of words.
Yeah,
Hopefully
that
they
was
mean
just...
something.
You're lying, Henry. How can you prove that I'm involved, detective?
Yeah, cigarette case would be my thought.
says you pawned a Fabergé cigarette case today for $600. A case that is on a list of stolen items.
It was Julia's idea. Get a list of society parties, find out where and when, and then have the guests burgle. Julia was desperate for money. No matter how much we made, she always wanted more.
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. She could marry Heather. Julia told the others that they were out, that she was going to create a new gang.
The fuck?
Do you want me to tell you the answer?
I can't tell if it's... Well, hold on. Well, if I accuse, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere,
You're lying, aren't
I can back up.
I think you ordered them to kill her. It was made to look like suicide, and when the coroner saw through that, you knew it was time to run.
I told you I was involved in the burglaries. I had nothing to do with Julia's death. Why would I need to run?
But you are going to run. You bought a ticket.
Yeah, he doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah, he's leaving.
Have you told Miss Swanson that you're leaving for Mexico City tomorrow night? That it's a one-way ticket?
Henry? Tell me it isn't true.
I had no choice. I wanted to marry Heather. I told Julia I wanted out, and she laughed in my face. I had to pay Willie and Jimmy a fortune to do her, and now I'm completely broke.
What you are, Buster, is under arrest.
Who is Henderson, and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Oh, come the fuck on!
Tell me about your first burglary, and don't lie.
I can't remember. I don't keep a list of these things.
But we do!
It's gotta be the contraband list. That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Your first burglary was a Dr. Harold Stoneman. You want to explain how he is involved, or shall I?
Henderson is Stoneman. He was crazy about Julia. She could get him to do whatever she wished. He threw
You're letting me
parties,
loose?
He arranged the burglaries. Julia never let him touch her. She just kept him hanging on the promise. Drove a good doctor almost insane.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Bend over and spell run. He'll look good in a dress.
Yeah. Think we have enough time to read a couple more? Frank Patty says, Happy New Year, fellas. I just picked up a glorious Bronson box set that I'll be watching after the stream. Here's 20 for being badass. Have you heard the new Candlemas song that features Tony Iommi?
I haven't, no.
Sounds crushing so far.
No, I haven't. They've gotten a few people from Sabbath, actually. Tony Martin. Tony Martin did some vocals for Candlemas.
I guess the wedding's off.
They only robbed their mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack.
So how does the doctor fit in?
That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting.
I've had worse.
You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor.
Next time you can take the runner, Roy.
I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I?
I never told you that.
Markod says, heard Epic Store will not have user reviews. How likely
I bet
are...
it.
What?
said, I bet.
Oh. How likely are game developers to use them as a shelter to avoid review bombing over late microtransaction implementation or broken
Steam has already,
updates?
Steam has already started curating that kind of shit, haven't they?
I think, yeah. Zborg Erical says, "Hey, THQ came back and have a 1,024% profit growth over last fiscal year. The Dead are Atari and the Blizzard 1/3 of Activision." In other news, Fire Emblem Mobile has a heavy metal theme now. Sabaton.
I guess. I wish there was a lot less Fire Emblem and fucking Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Time for the doctor to give us
What's it up to? Like
Fucking,
7
well,
characters?
why don't they just rename it Fire Emblem Brothers? Jesus.
Yeah. Time to give Fire Emblem a rest, I think.
Alright, bitch.
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett. And tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Nice!
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
Send
I
in
told
the
you never to
clouds.
cuss. Tell us the truth, Doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She
Was a whore.
never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No. Please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife or my children, nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key.
Tell me he's not gonna.
Yep.
God damn it.
Oh my. Well.
See that coming.
You knew once you saw he was on the 5th floor that it was gonna play in somehow.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Gonna need a really big spatula.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold
Few
Stone
trash
at
bags.
1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way.
Incel pancake.
We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
He's gone back to that great big friend zone in the sky.
Let's see. Big Chungus says, "Are there any comic book characters that you love with bad costumes and vice versa?"
That old boy really felt.
I mean, some people say the Phantom has a dumb costume. They're wrong, but some people say that.
And what about great costume but terrible
Would you throw it all
Oh god.
hero?
Moon Knight has terrible comics. A lot.
Yeah, that's a good
He has
answer.
a lot of really bad comics.
away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
Nightwing has a lot of bad comics too.
True.
I certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy, as long as they're in their place and doing what they're told.
Oh boy.
Thank God I didn't park there.
Quick look is all.
Can I not investigate? Okay, fine.
Cop they've been talking about on the radio. Want another commendation?
Ethan Long says,
Where'd my car go? Okay. Guess the chauffeur brought it around.
Ethan Long says, Boba Fett or the Predator? Who you got, fellas?
Boba Fett was defeated by a hole.
Yep.
Let's not exaggerate the combat prowess of Boba Fett, shall we?
Predator, please. Come
A
on.
blind guy and a hole.
Also, thoughts on Bungie and Activision split. Have a great night.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good.
You know what it tells me, honestly, is that Destiny is making so much money that Bungie can afford to leave. That's what it tells me. They're breaking away because they want to make all their own money.
One makes Destiny, the other makes Call of Duty. They can both fuck off.
Yeah.
He's around here somewhere. A big guy. Neighbors say he always wears basketball shoes and a cream jacket. And get this. The kids around here say he plays the harmonica.
Find the game well and have the commander...
Oh God, it's Bronson!
I want the area closed off. We'll take this side of the street.
You brought too many.
Hardcore Bunny says, a Bill Cosby
Harmonica
joke.
Playing wrestler. That's
Really,
a weird
Razor?
one. Think he knits
What?
as well?
Sorry.
Keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. Don't want him to bolt on us.
Where the fuck? Oh.
Follow the harmonica.
Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up.
He doesn't seem that big.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
I didn't mean to blind fire there. See, jumping up there? What the fuck? Come on. Get up there. Okay, he went up. Fucking hell. Where's this? There we go. He's waiting, so I'm about to get jumped, aren't I?
You gotta take on a wrestler, huh?
Hold it. He's got to be around here somewhere. No place to go unless he grew wings. There he is. Waste the son of a bitch.
Hell, dude. This fella eats his Wheaties.
Son of a bitch really picked a spot for it up here, didn't he? Julia Randall's folks are flying in from New York tomorrow to claim the body. I saw her on the slab. So perfect. Looked like she was made of porcelain. She really made an impression on me.
Leah had that impact on a lot of men.
Christ, it's cold.
Please don't leave this
You
man
guys
alone
did
with the
good
body.
work here today. Roy, I think you should buy your brother officers a drink.
Do you now? That's very generous of you, Lieutenant.
Oh, that's a case wrapped up.
Yep. A lot of vehicle damage. And I almost ran over a guy, so...
I mean, shit happens.
Continue.
Yes. Let's actually wrap these up. Hardcore Bunny says, a Bill Cosby joke? Really, Razor? Do you think he's guilty now, despite all the bullshit in his trial? Also, have you ever read that novella I sent you?
I don't... no, I have not looked closely enough into the Cosby case to really be persuaded one way or another, to be honest. I do know that Janice Dickinson fabricated her story and was caught doing it on the stand, and that he wasn't convicted because of any evidence, because there was no actual evidence. There was just his deposition, where he chose his words exceptionally poorly. I mean, that was why he was convicted. And then, of course, the dog pile, the Me Too dog pile that was going on in the media. I mean, it would have been impossible. He couldn't have gotten a fair trial on fucking Neptune. Like, it would not... No jury was going to be fair with the amount of coverage of that trial.
Yeah, that's a sad thing.
Right there. So,
Block Resner says... Oh, and did you read the novel?
Well, yeah, of course I did. I even gave him feedback on it.
Nice. Block Resner says, are there any comic book characters that you hate that might have had potential if anything were different? Execution, writer, etc.
Deadpool. I hate everything about Deadpool. I always have.
There we go. Best Way Killer.
If he had been handled completely differently, I might have been... Some of, like, his design is cool enough. I hate everything about his stupid fourth wall breaking bullshit.
Okay. Too tongue-in-cheek?
It's just dumb. Just not funny, not interesting, not just... It really grows old real fast. Plus, you already have Spider-Man, and Spider-Man breaks the fourth wall all the fucking time. All the time! So it's like, why does Deadpool need to exist? Just so you can have a slightly edgier Spider-Man, I guess? Is kind of like a more spastic, edgy fucking Spider-Man? I don't know. Just never got it. Plus, it's a Liefeld character. Which is never a point in anything's favor.
Best Way Killer. Always happy to join in the continuing adventures of Cole Phelps' Thought Patrol.
Cole Phelps, Comic Crusher.
What's your opinion of Ken Shamrock and Steve Blackman, my favorite wrestlers of the Attitude Era?
Oh, man. Whew. Boring taste in wrestlers. But no, Ken Shamrock actually picked it up. Ken Shamrock, like, and Steve Blackman was a good wrestler and a convincing wrestler, but man, if he had even a thimble full of fucking personality, like, holy shit. I've seen bags of flowers that were an overflowing font of charisma next to Steve fucking Blackman. He was so dull. But Ken Shamrock wasn't. Ken Shamrock was a legit, like, triple threat. I think the reason why he wasn't pushed harder, like, it seemed, a lot of people forget, in, like, 97, 98, when he first showed up, it looked like he was going to be pushed for the main event. Like, he was going to be it. And then I guess what started to happen is they had contractual problems with him backstage. I don't know if it was his money or what was going on, but something was going on. And Vince Russo has talked about this. He was told by Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was like, something's going on with his contract, just back off a bit. And that was when Ken Shamrock started settling into the middle card, and then eventually he just went away. Which is bullshit, man. They lost out on a lot of money there. But whatever was going on with his contract, I don't know what the hell it was. But something clearly happened, because to this day, Ken Shamrock has never been called back by WWE, ever. They have never called him back for anything, which is really weird. Like,
suspicious.
He has been, like, totally written out of any WWE plans, and considering he's been in great shape for all these years, like, what the fuck? What did he do?
Yeah, something weird. Tomo-kun says, Happy New Year, and I love your channel. Keep up the amazing work.
Godspeed.
Your thoughts on the nut job of a major? I think he means mayor, and governor of New York. I can't stand them.
Did you hear, Andrew Cuomo there?
No.
Apparently Harvey Weinstein donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to Andrew Cuomo's re-election fund. And then, miraculously, the harassment case against Harvey Weinstein in New York was completely dropped.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a kawinky of a goddamn dink.
Why is it always fucking New York?
Uh-huh.
God. All right. Moving on. Tom says, you do a good Hank Hill, but how's your Cotton Hill?
I killed 50 men! Not that great.
Yeah.
Not that great.
It's hard to get,
It is.
Yeah.
That he has one of those voices that's just hard to replicate.
Tom donates again and says, communism...
Not like China.
Communism
Triple
only...
Eights, X-Pac.
Tom says, communism only works with Scott Steiner math.
It's true.
It's really good. Masahiro the Master Hero says, do you know of Mike Barron's Nexus? And if so, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah. Trash Person says, Amazon ran out of physical copies of Elric and the Ruby Throne.
Awesome.
Somewhere someone else could find a copy?
Those go in and out of print, but I remember that happened after I did my first Elric video. The Ruby Throne and Stormbringer went out of print. So I think, but it was not but a couple of weeks before it went back in print. So don't worry about it. It'll be back. These have been consistently in print since whenever the first one came out. I think it was 2012 or something like that. So don't worry. It's in print. They just have to get shipped more, basically.
And he asks, when will we be seeing that Witcher/Elric video?
I already said this. Apparently there's a prominent fucking YouTuber who called me out on fucking Twitter and is like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking destroy Razor on the Elric Witcher shit, because fucking I read 3 chapters of a Witcher novel, so now I'm a fucking expert. So I kind of retooled it so it's more of a rebuttal. So I kind of have to wait for the dildo in question to drop his buzzing 3 speeds fucking rant.
Megatron95 says, got a question for the both of you, Razor and Taryn. Which canceled video game would you want to be revived? I would pick Star Wars 1313. Why?
It didn't look that good to me, honestly. It looked like a very linear adventure. It looked kind of, honestly, it looked kind of like Boba Fett Uncharted.
I'm not sure I wanted a Star Wars cover shooter.
Yeah. No thanks.
But
I think that was canceled for a reason, guys.
The easy one for you, I can guess, is the Daredevil game.
Yes. God, the fucking Daredevil game. I also wouldn't mind the old Shadow game that came out in the 90s that was finished but never released. I mean, we basically got it, but, I would have liked to see what that would have been like if it was finished and actually properly released.
And since we're on the subject of Star Wars, I want the original Star Wars Battlefront 3 to be uncanceled. The one where you could fly into space.
Or the KOTOR 3 that turned into the Old Republic MMO.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have KOTOR 3 than that fucking dog shit.
Gridley says, evening, gents. First part of my question wasn't answered last time. I finished a radio recreation of The Shadow. How can I send it your way? Facebook, my dude.
Yep, that would be Facebook.
P.S. Just got Hitler's Astrologer. Good stuff. Godspeed.
Nice.
Is that a good book?
Yes. It's goddamn good. It's Denny O'Neil and Michael Kaluta.
I need to read that then.
It's The Shadow versus Nazis.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Minarchist says...
Actually, it's The Shadow versus Nazis and communists.
Minarchist says, what is Steiner's greatest achievement? Surviving multiple Flair, Turner, and Hogan burials? founding the first pipe bomb, Frankensteiner, or 450 splash?
I always like the Steiner recliner personally. That fucking evil looking move. Jesus. That move, he literally puts you on his shoulders and then he just sits down and drops you on your neck. Like, what the fuck?
Tomo-kun repeats his last question about the nut jobs running New York, but adds, any advice to fight this madness politically?
In New York actually does have a Republican undercurrent, believe it or not. But unfortunately, it's like McCainite Republicans. It's, you guys, I think the first step to retaking New York, and believe it or not, it is actually possible, is you have to, it's not so much voting out Democrats as it is voting out shitty Republicans. You gotta get some actual conservative Republicans in office over there, and you can gradually start to turn things around and get genuine conservatives in prominent positions there. Because once you start doing that, then you can build your base and your funding base, and then you can actually challenge some of these seats. And it's a slow, agonizing process, but that's how it has to go down.
Yeah.
And the more brand recognition those people can have, the better, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, Trump is from New York. Okay? It's not like there's no Republicans.
The last says, I have a serious question. Do you think creators of any kind can introduce an LGBT character without making it feel as SJW pandering?
Yeah.
I would say yes. Just introduce a character.
Yep.
And that's it. Stop having...
Introduce a character. Why does it have to matter? Like, I think what a lot of people interpret as pandering in those cases is just the fact that people put sex scenes in books that don't need to be there. Why do I need to know who's banging who? Like, This is one of the things that I find so tiresome about modern Batman comics. I'm watching people legitimately invested in whether or not Catwoman and Batman get married. And it's like, why do you give a fuck? What does it have to do with whether or not Batman fights crime?
Yeah.
Or whether or not Selena Kyle steals shit? It doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's fanboy bullshit, and it's gonna pop a big sales number for 5 minutes, and then it's gonna hurt the book. Because instead of building genuinely worthwhile stories, you were engaging in this feckless fan wank. And that's a problem. That's a legitimate problem, and DC's been imbibing in a lot of that bullshit, which maybe down the road is even worse than what Marvel's doing.
Rui Vasquez says, Razor, I love that you will be doing a podcast. Is it going to be in the Razor persona, or will you stray from it? Will you have guests on it?
It'll definitely be different.
Can Sabaton be on it?
There will be guests, and it will probably not be in the traditional Rageaholic style. This is going to be it's going to suit the subject matter. I can't really give much more away than that.
Best Way Killer says, by the way, I got Bathory's Twilight of the Gods for Christmas. Great album. And I agree that Under the Runes is the best track.
It's pretty boss.
Yabello Montero donates 20. Thank you very much. Longtime viewer, first time shekel thrower. Just bought Kingdom Come Deliverance and can't tear myself away from it.
Oh, it's so good. I just got back into it
What are your thoughts on the revival of 90s game design such as Dusk, Overload, and A Medieval?
I don't know. Some of it is just retrosploitation, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I can do without that.
Bojack, we'll get to your question. Don't worry.
But, I'm more encouraged by the revivification of 90s design in the form of like a lot of games are pulling from Daggerfall these days. A lot of games. You just mentioned one, Kingdom Come Deliverance. There's a lot of Daggerfall elements in that game. There's a lot of Daggerfall elements in Red Dead 2. Think about that for a minute. The fucking biggest game in years. Doubtless, by the time this game stops selling, it's going to be one of the biggest games of all time. And it has design elements from goddamn Daggerfall in it. That's fucking nuts. That's insanity. But that's where we're at, which is cool. That's very encouraging.
Dylan Killen says, what development in all of humanity has boned humanity the most? I would say the development of communism.
Well, communism predates women's rights. I would say the initial schism starts with federalism itself. I think that's probably where it all went astray. Although it started out relatively well-intentioned. You know, the path to hell, as they say, is paved with good intentions. And that is an object example of that. So I would say federalism et al. Particularly as it relates to the birth of the nation that I currently inhabit.
Vlad the Kebab Remover says, besides Chandler, what other noir novels do you enjoy? Also, apologies to Taryn for the footstool remark. Well, I'm used to it.
A lot of James M. Cain shit is really good. He wrote, of course, Double Indemnity, which has a different ending than the film, actually. I believe instead of Walter going to the gas chamber, which they actually cut that ending, ultimately, it ended with Phyllis Dietrichson and Walter Neff. Actually, I think they changed his name in the novel, too. But anyways, I believe they're, like, cornered by police, and they're trying to flee to Mexico. And they take, like, a boat out or something to try and flee, and they're about to get caught, and so they're rowing out into shark-infested waters, and they wind up holding hands and jumping into the shark-infested waters, and that's the end of the fucking book.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's actually a little more over the top than the movie. But yeah, that would James M. Cain. W.R. Burnett wrote a lot of good stuff. Of course, Dashiell Hammett, although I'm not as big a fan of him as I am of Chandler and James M. Cain. So yeah, lots of stuff.
Mood on Helm says, T-Goose, did we ever get your favorite anime? Yeah, it's been asked before. It's called Iria the Animation.
Right.
Iria Zerum the Animation.
Right.
It's really good. Miguel Olmo.
It's on Amazon, by the way.
Oh, is it?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Miguel Olmo says, hey, Razor and T-Boogie, can you name your top Silver Surfer comics or graphic novels? I really want to get into the character. Where should I start?
Yeah.
P.S. Better dead than red.
Silver Surfer the Parable with Stan Lee and Mobius. Probably Stan Lee's best work and some of Mobius's best work, too. I also like Silver Surfer Requiem. I really love... Get the very first Silver Surfer... Essential Silver Surfer. The Stan Lee, John Buscema stuff. That stuff fucking kills. It's good. It holds up. And I think it holds up because Stan Lee was so... He had done so many superheroes by that point, he was looking to do something different and more serious. And so it's like more philosophical. Like it gets a little maudlin in places, actually in a lot of places. But it's really interesting. There's a lot of, like, Stan Lee exploring questions of, like, very sci-fi, very philosophical questions of, like, human existence and, like, the nature of mortality and futility. And, like, it's actually really good. It's held up pretty well. And the whole idea, I love how he started with the premise that Silver Surfer is sentenced to stay on Earth, right? He's forced. He can't travel around the galaxy. And that moment, which is great, like, Stan Lee stuck to that for a long time. Silver Surfer could not leave fucking Earth. And then he finds some way, and it turns out, I forget what the explanation was, that it was, like, Silver Surfer's power itself was actually keeping him there. It wasn't Galactus. Like, Galactus had engineered it so that, like, he was keeping himself there. And the way he finally breaks free of the shield around the Earth that keeps him from leaving is one of the greatest moments in the history of comics, and should have been mentioned in Stan Lee's obituaries because it was absolutely brilliant.
Wow. I'll have to look that up.
Really good stuff. Really, really good shit.
Corpse a Lot says, hey, Razor, When are we Elite Dangerousing the shit out of this place?
We did. We actually had an Elite Dangerous stream.
Oh. Sturm Truppen Bob says, excited for Ace Combat 7? Played the other games?
I am. I'll be playing it, and I'm stoked, and I'm buying it.
Metalhead Martyr says, thoughts on Blizzard and Bungie splitting off? We've actually already talked about
Yep.
that. Irish Steel, hey, welcome back. Donates $22.81 and says, hey, Razor, haven't donated in a while. I wanted to get into Prince. What's the best way to get into his music, particularly the songs and albums, and where I should start?
I mean, the popular answer is Purple Rain for a reason. It's very accessible. It has some really good deep cuts. It's got the movie tie-in, and it's a damn good album. So it's a very, very good reason, good way to get into Prince, actually. And it's a great gateway drug for him. After that, you can really expand. Like, Prince was all over the place. He did funk, he did rock, he did, like, blues. The most recent album, the posthumous album, is just him with a piano and a microphone. It's like blues. So, you know, from there you can really go a lot of different directions. So I would say start with Purple Rain, as cliche as it sounds.
Dippenair Nerd says, I'm continuing my journey into Sabbath. Thanks for the mythos. I have Paranoid plus Volume 4. Is Paranoid an anti-war album despite the band not being a protest band? Also, I love the mixed sounds of Volume 4.
Nah, it just, it has an anti-war song because Geezer Butler is a fucking hippie. And surprisingly, he was the most wealthy member of the band. He went to a private school, and surprise, surprise, he grew up to be lefty. What do you know?
Nobody Messes with Adam Wee donates and asks the very common question, thoughts on Bungie and Activision breaking away.
Jesus! I already talked about that.
David NS84 says, you said once China was more capitalist than the U.S. I'll admit...
that's not true. I said in some ways they are.
I'll admit the U.S. is not exactly a freewheeling, free market economy, though it's better than under Trump. Even with economic reforms, China is state-subsidized corporatism.
It is.
And Z is clamping down right now.
It is, and yet, in certain ways, it's less regulated. I mean, certainly with regard to environmentalism, it's much less regulated than American industry. No question. And I could list a dozen other ways in which China regulates its economy less than America does. And that should be deeply disturbing, because you're right, China isn't a purely capitalist country. They're not even mostly a capitalist country. They are still very much a communist nation.
Very much so.
And yet, they don't regulate their economy as much as we do in a lot of appreciable ways. It's not because they're super capitalist, it's because we have adopted socialist and communist policies, and that should bother you.
And if I didn't say it, I forget if I did. That was David NS84. Irish Steel says, does Taran have a neck beard?
No.
I tried to shave.
He has a Riker beard, actually.
Thank you. Mersh says, is wrestling fake? No. The wrestling is real. The stories are fake.
No.
I took that one. That's okay.
No, it's predetermined.
It's predetermined, yeah.
And they try not to hurt each other too much if they can, because they can make more money that way. You know? But you can't fake gravity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that shit hurts,
a pile driver's a fucking pile driver, even if they don't drop their head into a mat. You're still going to get a nice little spinal realignment doing Tombstone.
Just ask poor fucking Mankind. What's his name? I forget.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't fake gravity, and taking bumps, taking a bump of just a few feet hurts. It causes permanent damage in some cases. You know, that's why most people who go to wrestling school, I mean, I can tell you, because, like, I talked about my very brief, very not serious wrestling experience. The first time you take a bump is a very eye-opening experience, and you immediately want to quit. Yeah, the first time you take a fucking bump.
Mick Foley, right.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. And it's like the thing that you most commonly do in an average wrestling match.
Wes Lindstrom says, you can take the man out of the triple parentheses, but you can't take the triple parentheses out of the man.
Okay.
Okay. Adherent of Lady Columbia donates 20. Thank you very much. Looking into retro bands and movements like Synthwave and bands like Greta Van Fleet. While I don't like all the material, much of its classic hard rock got to me. Any advice for such bands so they're not seen as just retro?
Yeah, progress from that. Bands like Eclipse have an 80s sound with a modern spin, right? They have progressed from mere 80s worship. Actually, that's probably because they started as a more modern band. Like the early 80s, the early Eclipse stuff doesn't sound 80s at all. It's kind of like modern radio rock. And then they progressed in an 80s vein, and so it's more natural. That's why Eclipse is so fucking good. You know what I mean? Wolf is another good example. They started as kind of the reverse. They were they were almost a Swedish Iron Maiden cover band in a way. And then they gradually progressed to a heavier sound. They started incorporating elements of like Motorhead, things like that. And they got to be more like their most recent albums, which are a little bit controversial, have been much more individualistic. So that's my recommendation. Like, become yourself. You don't have to lose that 80s sound, and just because you sound like yourself doesn't mean you can't be a band in that 80s vein, right? Because bands were still progressing in the 80s. There are tons of paths that were not quite fully explored and not fully taken in 80s metal. So there's no reason to stop there.
Bearded Bjorn, go ahead and type it in the chat. It didn't pop up. Stealth Creations says, if you could imagine a spirit animal and a funny affliction to represent them with, what would you make for Justin Trudeau? A spirit animal and funny affliction?
A cockatiel.
That's
next.
So perfect. Daisy Ridley's acting talent says, what do you like on your pizza?
I'm a black olive guy, big time. I love black olives, and they're good for you. Black olives, pepperoni, and mushroom. That's like my ideal pizza right there.
Nate Dragland says,
and before anyone's like, yuck, olives, you can't eat Italian food and hate fucking olives. There's olives in every fucking ounce of Italian food. Olive oil is the base for all fucking pizza sauce. Olive oil is slathered over every square inch of fucking pizza crust. You just cannot get away from olives. Stop it.
It's true. Nate Dragland says, has Sabaton been investigated as possible suspects?
No.
Loch Ness Monster donated Tree Fitty and says, will Bethesda ever go back to making RPGs?
I don't know, man. I know that there's a little more incentive for them to do so now that, like, Red Dead has more RPG elements than Skyrim did. So, you know, you'll look at the amount that Red Dead 2 sold. I gotta believe that's an incentive. You look at Kingdom Come Deliverance selling millions of copies. I gotta believe that's an incentive. I don't think... Like, I think there's a reason Witcher 3 didn't persuade them to get more into RPG elements. Because Witcher 3 is, like, barely, if at all, a fucking RPG. Witcher 3 is an open-world adventure game with fucking waifu simulator slapped on top. Not much of an RPG. There's no stats. There's, you know, it's kind of a Skyrim-ish kind of game. So it was important for games like Kingdom Come Deliverance that are, like, that have legit RPG elements. And honestly, Red Dead 2, which literally has stats and shit. Like, literally has the disease system. Getting diseases and coming down with sicknesses, that was in fucking Daggerfall.
Yeah.
They fucking swiped that.
Fucking, what was it, Blight? That the fucking pterodactyls had?
If Bethesda were ever going to get back to RPGs, now's the time. Now's the time.
Black.
Your fans are pissed at your current direction, and games that have swiped elements of Daggerfall, not so much Morrowind, but Daggerfall, are selling in the tens of millions of copies. So yeah, absolutely. Now is the time.
Black Raptor donates a couple of bucks. Thank you very much, and welcome back. Hey, Razor and Terran, since you tell us how great French comics are, which is true, I was wondering if there are any French comic titles that you feel that are not that great or are flat out terrible to you, and why that is.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. French comics, look, the French are sex maniacs in some ways, culturally. So a lot of the shittier comics are it's just sleazy, let's draw lots of boobs and vag kind of comics that the stories don't really hold up. It's kind of just an exploration of sex and youth and blah, blah, blah. You know, kind of like some French independent films, you know what I mean? So, you know, French comics aren't perfect. They have shitty comics just like America. But the best French comics ratify the entire medium.
My Life is a Complex Pastiche donated 25. Thank you very much. Jango Fett is better than Boba Fett in every way. Don't at me.
Ooh.
Karis says, Did you partner go to Stormtrooper shoot school?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, he's talking about... Okay. Sorry, the way he worded it was weird. Well, shit, T-Dog says, do you think the U.S. should have done what Patton wanted and attacked the Soviet Union post-World War II?
It would have headed off a lot of trouble, but who knows if we could have pulled it off. I mean, attacking Russia, especially at that time, because wasn't it still winter?
Oh, God, I
don't know
remember.
if it was winter or if it was summer, because that would definitely factor in. Because you don't want to attack Russia in the winter. You don't want to fucking make that mistake. Every major empire has made that mistake, and every major empire has fallen. So,
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So that would be a major factor. Someone would have to clear me up on that one. I'm not sure offhand. I know that Hitler, part of the reason he was fucked in attacking Russia was because Mussolini went and attacked Greece because he was pissed at Hitler for not telling him about invading Czechoslovakia and Poland and everything. And so he attacked Greece, and then he got fucked. He got trapped. Italian forces being, of course, amazing at that time. In fairness, they weren't fully industrialized at the time.
Beggar, just go ahead and write it in the chat.
So he attacked Greece, and Hitler had to divert a huge chunk of his forces to save Mussolini's armies. And the delay forced Germany to attack Russia in the winter. Or forced the bulk of their offensive to occur in the winter, which was really the beginning of the end.
T-Dog is saying it was summer when World War II ended.
Okay, then that would factor in. I mean, that would be much more ideal. As long as you could, like, blitzkrieg the shit out of them. Because you wouldn't want to be in a long-term invasion with them that lasted until the winter. Or even until the fall.
Nobody messes with Adam Wee says, thoughts on All Elite Wrestling. When will pro wrestling shift focus back to characters, gimmicks, and storylines over high spot BS we have now?
That's the thing. Like, I don't see All Elite Wrestling doing that because Cody Rhodes is intimately involved, and he's very much into flip-flopping and flying. I wish him the best, but the problem is I look at Cody Rhodes, and it's one thing to run a single event like All In that's a success, not like a world-rending success, but a success. And it's another thing entirely to run your own promotion. It costs a lot of money, and you lose a bunch of money for the first several years before you start to compete. I mean, look at WCW. I think they turned a profit for fucking 1 year of their entire existence, something like that. So, like, All Elite Wrestling, I wish him the best, but I look at Cody Rhodes' philosophy, and I worry that it's not going to pan out because he's not going to differentiate it. Because it sounds to me like another Ring of Honor. And Ring of Honor already exists. We don't need another one. If you're going to make a rival promotion, it needs to focus on character and storylines and all that Vince Russo-y shit that Cody Rhodes hates so much. Look at how Cody Rhodes reacted to Vince Russo being involved in All In.
Yeah.
That doesn't speak well of the philosophy of All Elite Wrestling. Even if you hate Vince Russo, it speaks to Cody Rhodes not agreeing with that philosophy. And that philosophy is what's needed to differentiate the product from WWE and from Ring of Honor and TNA. So, wish him the best, but I worry. I have reservations.
Hardcore Boney donates again and says, I meant, did you read the second novella I sent? Storm Icker and Hideous Icker. If not, that's cool. I was just wondering your honest opinion on my work. Just send everything to the Facebook.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Okay. As Serpent21 says, after losing everything in 2017, the left began a mad push for socialism and normalizing pedos. Did Trump winning truly break them and drive them nuts?
I think it's definitely it's exacerbated a schism that already existed within the left, and that's what I meant. Like, one of the first questions was the woman declaring she was gonna run as a Democrat and how that was gonna shape up for Trump. It's led to the situation that the left has right now, which is you have all these warring factions, and all of them are marshaling their own supports. And here's the problem. The socialistic wing of the party sees the moderate wing of the Democratic Party as outright treacherous. Because they are into their fucking workers' revolution. So anyone who runs counter to that is the enemy. They might as well be a Republican. That's going to be a problem, and you can mark my fucking words. That will come to blows between the Biden wing of the party, the more moderate wing of the party, and the Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders wing.
Yeah, go ahead, Bojack. Just put it in the chat. Where did I leave off? Why did it fucking do that? I hate this thing. There it is. David NS84 says, got Alpha Protocol after your recommendation, as well as Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. Lots of RPG goodness.
Yep, damn good games.
Good shit. Elvice says...
Glitchy-ass games, though.
Elvice says, make guillotines great again. Also, missed my super. Really?
Have you heard that, by the way? He literally, cannot leave his fucking ivory tower without being pelted with refuse.
He's fucked. He's proper fucked. I'm sorry if I missed your super chat. I did not see it on the list anywhere.
Who knew voting for the status quo would get you the goddamn status quo? Watch my Vive la Fallujah rant. I predicted all this.
Yep. Demasta says...
And by the way, fucking Paul Zigo, you diabetic golem, suck my nuts, bitch! Because he called me out on Twitter when I dropped that fucking video, and he was like, the salt about the French election is real. Who's laughing now, you fucking fagaloon? How you like your yellow vest? I get that you couldn't fucking fit into one if you greased up your fat ass. Anyways.
And Elvice would also like to know Roadhouse Rageaholics.
What?
Roadhouse Rageaholic Cinema win.
I don't know. Maybe at some point. I mean, it does fit the theme.
Yeah. Demasta says, John McCain was so full of shit that his body had to grow extra colons to hold all of it. That's why his cheeks were so swollen.
Nah, I think his cheeks were swollen because he was storing his bullshit for winter.
David NS84 says, Vindication of the Rights of Women was published in 1792.
Ooh, I didn't know that, actually.
That weeping sore predates Marxism. Ooh.
I did not realize that, actually.
Mood on Helm says, Razor, I was under the impression...
Although I will say, that movement, as a movement, it didn't really get rolling until the 19-teens.
Bring me a body bag.
19-teens, 1920s. It was over a century. That's one of the reasons Red Dead 2, the feminist shit, is so wedged into that. It's so obvious they just wanted to talk about it. Because the game takes place in 1899, I think. Pardon me. Fucking the women's movement did not exist.
Right.
Did not fucking exist at that point.
Moodon Helm says, Razor, I was under the impression that Federalists were the ones that passed the Constitution in the first place. What do you mean the Federalists were a problem?
They were a massive problem. It's right there in the name. It was about consolidation of state power and the real, of federal state power of the state, not the individual states. So it created really, in a relatively innocuous fashion, admittedly, but it created the current schism between states' rights and federal rights. And of course, we can all see who's winning that tug of war at present. And it also created the pretext for, Thomas Jefferson to abuse the press and then cower behind the premise of freedom of the press, and thereby give license to the entire media to openly peddle disinformation on a daily basis and get away with it on a constitutional basis. Thomas Jefferson was such an advocate for freedom of the press because Thomas Jefferson printed willful lies in the press to character assassinate George Washington, to character assassinate his cabinet.
I remember that.
He famously, he had a problem with a member of George Washington's cabinet, and they were having a debate. So they were having a debate, and he started losing. So what does Thomas Jefferson do? Does he research the topic and get more knowledgeable on it? No. He publishes editorials under an anonymous surname in newspapers that verify what he was saying. He publishes bullshit articles to create his own sources that he can then use in the debate. Unbelievable. It really set the precedent for what's going on in the press right now with the Democrats.
Oh, and Bojack, we did answer your question, so you're good. Last few here. Filipino White Boy says, thoughts on the Jim Acosta video demonstrating the effectiveness of the wall.
Oh, we already talked about that.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
I got a good goddamn belly laugh out of that.
He donates again and says, has anime ever dabbled in noir, and if so, are there any that you would consider good? Anime.
Yeah, Lupin the Third definitely dabbled in noir. Gosh, I don't know. Cowboy Bebop had some noir elements, but it wasn't like
here and there.
Yeah, it wasn't like full-on noir. I'm trying to think. There's actually quite a few anime that have noir elements.
Yeah. The only thing I can think animated in noir is that movie with Daniel Craig in it. What was it?
Oh, that wasn't anime, though. That was a French thing.
Yeah, but it's animated. Yeah,
Renaissance. The animation in that hasn't aged well, but the art style and the whole cyberpunk vibe of it has. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Full-time
Detective Conan, thank you.
There you go. Full-time Fader says, odds of an LA Noir 2 getting made, set in New York.
I think that'd be great. New York Noir. I'd like to see Chicago Noir, personally.
I heard some news about Team Bondi lately. I think they
were working on Whore of the Orient, but I believe it has been shit-canned.
But like recently, I think they got some new project they're working on.
Thank you. Wicked City was one.
Wicked City,
yeah.
Right.
I remember that.
And Mr. DJ Fly.
Big O! Sorry, we're going to be doing this all night if I have to.
God, how did I
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
How did I forget that? It's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, totally.
Mr. DJ Fly High says, thoughts on Tulsi Gabbard running. We actually already talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Also, would you do a rant about the shutdown?
I already talked about it. This was inevitable. This was going to happen the moment Trump took office. We were going to have at least one shutdown. There may even be more. Because the Democrats are so philosophically opposed to everything that the American people stand for, the American people that elected Trump, and they refuse to surrender their power base. So eventually it was going to come to an impasse. Look, I said at the time, we can solve this problem with ballots or bullets. That's how corrupt the government has gotten. We let it go too long. We didn't solve the problem early enough. And now the rent is due. So we have to choose ballots or bullets. We chose ballots in 2016, which is good. That's good. But that means a lot of what would have been physical violence is going to be political violence instead. It's going to be shutdowns and gridlock and corruption and stealing elections and stuffed ballot boxes. And we've witnessed all these things since 2016, and we will witness even more of them. So, no question. So it doesn't surprise me at all. But here's the thing.
And you go in pieces, asshole.
Nismore too. Here. How about we call you Nimrod too? LMAO, didn't Hillary get the popular vote? First off, if she won the popular vote by so much, why didn't she challenge the result? Has anyone on the left ever asked that? Because she certainly challenged the validity of Trump's presidency after the fact. Why didn't her lawyers call up immediately? Al Gore's lawyers called up immediately, and he lost by a lot more than Trump. Why? Because she didn't want them looking into election irregularities.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
There were
I still want them to.
And there were a lot of stories of election irregularities in certain counties during the 2016 election. I am doggedly convinced that Hillary lost the popular vote, and I think she absolutely did stuff ballot boxes to win the popular vote. The problem, of course, is she lost the majority of the country because she was adamantly opposed to Middle America and the Rust Belt, and so the electoral map was automatically not going to go her way. But I stand firmly behind that.
I still want that fucking investigation. Here we are 3+ years, and it's like, are we never going to do that? Yeah. Are we just going to let that go?
Yep, absolutely. The problem, of course, it makes me upset that Trump hasn't looked into the election irregularities, but at the same time, he's so beset by bullshit on a daily basis. Can you really blame him for not focusing on that one thing?
Yeah.
You know?
Mercenary X21 says, also, I forgot to say I just got back from space. Fourth comic book with a Make Space Great Again hat in the mail yesterday. That really wasn't much of a sentence, but I'm happy for you. Mr. Nicktown donates 20. Thank you. Cities were a mistake.
Major urban population centers where they allow unconstitutional laws to go unchallenged that create a self-perpetuating Democrat welfare state that guarantees the continued existence of a Democrat one-party rule were certainly a fucking mistake. They were certainly a massive fucking mistake.
And you can probably read that last one there.
What is it?
Just click on it.
Here we go. Whoa! Russians outnumbered the other... that won't work. Hold on. $5. Where is it? Donazione.
Not popping up for me.
Yeah, I'm looking. And gotchas. Okay, here we go. No, that's not right.
See how finicky this fucking thing is?
And it doesn't want to fucking show me. You mud of... Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was clicking on the wrong screen. Okay, Sixth Thugger donates $5. Russians outnumbered the other allies by at least 2-1 in Germany at the end of the war, so Operation Unthinkable would eventually fail. Okay. Mercenary X21. Voice recognition sucks balls. I got a Trump Space Force comic. Nice!
That's awesome.
Somebody needs to like Jimmy rig an old like Star Fox style Super Nintendo VFX game.
That would be amazing.
And call it Space Force. Somebody really, really needs to do that. One of the pilots is Rand Paul.
Oh.
One of the other pilots is Mike Pence or something. You know, you could have fucking some shitlord Stefan Molyneux or something.
Mike Pence is a shock trooper.
I'd say General Mattis, but I don't suppose we can do that anymore. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of tonight's festivities. I want to thank you all for joining us here on the comedy-crushing foray into the world of L.A. Noire, which is always a hell of a lot of fun. For Terrangel, I am RazörFist. You filthy left-wing parasite. You expect me to sit here and listen to your drivel? God fucking speak!